Yo, 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 what's going on, everyone? Welcome on in to a DFS strategy video for the 2026 Charles Schwab Challenge. My name is Eric, and I'm here at SweetSpotDFS to go over everything you're going to need to know on how to target the optimal lineup this week. That means going over the golf course and tournament information, the pass optimal and GPP winning lineups, going over the bucket system, as well as the Marquee Tee Times for this week's tournament. Now, just a reminder, this is a live stream, so therefore I may be talking to my chat over here to the right. If you want to skip ahead, there are timestamps. Go check those out. I usually like to start the beginning of these videos doing a little housekeeping items as well as giveaways. So first things first, I see Denny in the chat going 810. What is that? Yeah, you know, some things required some updates, and we got those updates made. So sorry for the later tea time. There we go. That golf is on my mind. The later start time. But yes, good evening to AJ, Denny Barry, and Johnny B. Okay. And then he says, I had a whole speech about how good of play Collie was going to be and had to redo everything. Did he just withdraw? Because I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay. First things first, let's go over some things. I do like to do giveaways. I'll throw those on the screen. I also have down below a link to giveaways, or a link to how to gain entries to my giveaways. So weekly $5 giveaway as well as a monthly giveaway. This is the last week before the monthly giveaway will be ran next week. So next week, monthly giveaway. We hit the goal as long as people don't unsubscribe. So we're at 950, as I'm showing 952, but we're at 951 because someone, maybe it was a bot, maybe it was just someone who didn't like what was going on, but we are at 951. So hopefully that stays over 950 by next week. And if that is the case, I will be doing not only a monthly giveaway that gives you a membership to SweetSpotDFS.com, a monthly membership, but also a t-shirt. Which gets me on my next topic. On my website, I will create a new link. I will blast it out everywhere I can, whether that's on X, whether that's on YouTube. I will say, hey, if you want a hat, because I'm going to be doing hats, go check out the website. So I'm gonna try to get that by the end of this week. Maybe I can get it by tomorrow, but I'll try for the end of this week. And just have you guys go there. For those that are interested, the hats are going to be about $40. You will see what they look like on this link, on this website. So go check that out. I'm also going to do a win the pot giveaway. So do we start it now, I wonder? How many weeks are left? We got, what? Next week is Memorial. And then it's RBC Canadian. Okay, so I will show you guys the giveaway next week. That'll be great. Yeah, we'll do it next week. So I'm gonna start the win the pot giveaway next week. You guys will see what that's all about. You can also check the link down in the description about giveaways. I actually talk about it there. Go check those out if you haven't seen it yet. One thing I always forget to do is the optimizer as well as the cheat sheet that I run throughout. Or I should say, yeah, the optimizer that I run and the cheat sheet that I operate, you can get these all on the website, SweetSpotDFS.com. There's a link down below. If you want access to this, all that you have to do is go to SweetSpotDFS.com. Under Fantasy Tools, go to Optimizer. This will go to a new page. This page will then have a pop-up that appears that says, well, it'll ask you for your email address. Just like this. So you type in your email here, request now, and I will send you the optimizer. This cheat sheet is free to everybody. This is not behind a paywall. Under Fantasy Tools at SweetSpotDFS.com, you can go down to cheat sheet. I will be using this cheat sheet throughout the stream, but other pieces that I actually go over that are on a Google sheet, you would come down to this cheat sheet here, click here. This will open up a whole new Google sheet where you can find the Marquee Tee Times, There is the bucket system down here for the Charles Schwab challenge. So everything that I'm going to be covering in this video, you can also find on this cheat sheet, because I am still using my own spreadsheets, Google Sheets, to go over all this stuff. So you can follow along with me there. But everything else on SweetSpotDFS.com, all the other tools that I will be using, whether it's the tournament information, the golf course stats, the historic salary builds, the pass optimal and GPP winners, the bucket system, the lead-in stats, the strokes gain stats, that is all on SweetSpotDFS.com. So go check it out. There's a link in the description. Yeah. Those are my housekeeping items. Let's do our giveaway. This is for the weekly giveaway winner. We had 23 total entries. That is for all the roll calls that I do during my live streams. And then if you comment in the YouTube comments after this video goes live, type whatever you want in there. If you look at the description of the video, it'll tell you how to get an additional entry. You guys, if you go and follow all that, that's how you get additional entries into this giveaway. So without further ado, here we go. This is for $5. It's the weekly giveaway. Nathan Johnson. Nathan, you are on a hot streak, my friend. Hot streak. Holy moly. Congratulations, Nathan, on another giveaway win. Again, this is random. This isn't me choosing, just random. What did Nathan have? 4 total entries? So he had the most. He had some of the most. He's here participating, so that's he's getting all of his entries that way. All right. Before I get into the golf course and tournament information, let me check out the rest of the chat. I see Joanne is here. Good evening, Joanne. We will be I'm going to be providing something on the website for hats. So again, I will blast out to everybody, whether it's on X, maybe even email, but definitely YouTube, X, those avenues, letting you guys know that I am ordering hats and I want you to choose which hats you'd like to see. I randomly don't see my name. Again, live stream, so I see my people in the chat. Danny, sure. I think it's because every week you say you like Collie and he sucks. Oh, well, I probably like him this week. I'm not sure if he's withdrew or not. I haven't looked at anything for golf this week. I've been doing so poorly that I need to regain my enthusiasm tonight. Okay, well, hopefully we can find it for you. Nate Woods, what's going on, man? I work in the morning, but we'll be here tomorrow night. What the sweet, my new Eric on my son. Follow the right numbers. Your proof is in pudding. Oh, I appreciate it. I know that's a compliment. Thank you. It feels like maybe there was some kind of correction, some autocorrect. Anyways, I randomly don't see my name picked. Ha ha ha. Very funny, AJ. All right, let's get into the golf course and tournament information. I like to start here with the tournament information page. Again, you can find this at SweetSpotDFS.com under tournament stats. Go to the Charles Schwab challenge, and we will find all of our information here. All of it. Unlike last week, every single time this tournament has been played, it has been at the Colonial Country Club. Actually, different tournament names, but Charles Schwab challenge nonetheless. You can see all of the winning scores, all the strength of fields that were a part of each of these tournaments, how many golfers were in the field, all that good stuff. Those are all data points. In fact, everything that I am going to talk to you about, whether it's the tournament or the golf course, are data points to use for researching the golfers you want to play this week. The wonderful thing about each of these tools, so we can see the average winning score is minus 12.85. The lowest winning score is minus 20. The highest winning score is minus 8. We have an average cut score of 1 over par. So right away, if you were to go to any of the tools that have the little filter buttons here to the left, that's what these are, filter buttons, you can drill into any one of these for your data points. So we just found out that minus 12.85 is the average winning score. If we were to come down here and see average winning score, well, let's kind of do some kind of plus minus 4 from 12.85. So let's round up, I guess, and say this is minus 17. And we can round down from here, let's say minus 8. I know that's kind of a big, a wide dispersion. Maybe we do plus or minus 2. Maybe that's probably the best way to go about it. So say 13, so minus 15 to minus 10. I like that better. So right away, this is a data point you can use for researching on any of these tools. This is my strokes gain stats tool. And really, I have a date already pre-populated in here. If you want to go further back, go check it out further back. It's all up to you. Like if I were to clear this out, you can see more rounds of golf get applied to some of these golfers. But if I were to just use a year, we can keep this at 12/3/2026 because it doesn't matter. Can't go into the future and see performances, not yet at least. But if we go 25 and we take today's date of 5/26, we can just drill into that. And now we look at 1 year's worth of data when it applies to those types of winning scores. And if you sort by strokes gained total, I think this is probably the best way to look at it. You can see who does better under these conditions. A lot. I mean, William Mao and Camilo Villegas. I mean, we have two min 6K golfers, Camilo and Kevin Kisner. Obviously, that's not a lot in your sample size. Even here with Hank Lebioda and Hayden Springer, not a super great sample size. Maybe you kind of ignore them. Or maybe you slap like a kind of a little filter or a little penalty on these guys. And these guys aren't quite your top guys that you want to be looking at. In fact, you probably should just ignore them anyways. I don't have a way to show you 24 or more rounds. So right now you just have to do the select date. But scroll through these golfers and see their names. I mean, we got Russell Henley. Any golfer that has over 20 rounds of golf, Henley is your first guy. Then it's followed by Ludwig, Ricky Fowler, Harry Hall, Alex Smalley. We have a few guys here, 14, 12, 10 rounds of golf. You could use that. That's fine. If you like some of these golfers, I mean, it's just to provide conviction in your plays. Who do you like? Do your golfers fit these stat profiles? If not, then you just ignore them. Or perhaps maybe this gets you on golfers that you originally weren't going to be on. So that's also a helpful way to do it. Again, I have several tools on here that you can use. Again, look for the filter icons over here to the left. Now, instead of winning score, maybe we instead, by the way, there's little clear selections that are very difficult to see, but they are there. Just hover over and you can see it says clear selections. We can look at cut score. Remember, 1 over par is the average cut score. So we could filter it out by that. So let's go our lowest score. Let's go give or take 2 again. So we'll go -1 to 3 over par. And then if we X out of this, we can see all the golfers that do the best here. Kevin Kisner's on the top again, but I bet you it's the same 4 rounds that he was performing well when the winning score was minus whatever we had at -10 to -15, something like that. So again, those golfers don't excite you, don't play them. That's fine. I'm not even telling you that Kevin Kisner is a good play this week. You might see him at the top here, but those are 4 limited rounds. I don't even know if we drill down into his name. What contest was that? Yeah, see, it's the old Barbasol tournament, the ISCO championship in Kentucky. So that's an alternate field event. You do not need to really focus in on that, saying that that's a good player. So looking at Ludwig, Fowler, those are, Fowler's rating out really well for me, even in the model. And just to give you a little heads up with the optimizer, if I hit this run optimizer, he's going to be in one of the most optimal lineups. Yeah, check this out. Fowler, Matsuyama, Harry Hall, Thorbjornsen, Yella Miraju, and Jackson Suber. So Logan, I see you're in the chat. There you go. We have a lineup for you that just includes Jackson Suber right away. But again, we have Russell Henley down here. Now we get Akshay Bhatia. Alex Smalley now popped up twice for both of these stats and has several rounds under his belt to kind of tell you that he kind of performs well in these conditions. But I will leave this all to you guys to do your research on. I just want to provide you data points that you can use for researching, whether it's on my site or other sites. When people talk about these things, you want to know payoffs that are included. So I'm showing you golfers that have good stats for those data points, right? That's the whole purpose of this. If your content creator isn't doing that, stop listening to them, or at least criticize them in the chat or the comments. Maybe don't. Maybe just leave it as it is and just continue supporting them. But I can't stand it. People talking and talking and talking and then not providing any golfers that are good to play. It's just awful. It's awful. Moving on to the golf course stats. We have turf grass, Bermuda, all the way until the greens. And then we have bent grass greens. No overseed this week. And quite frankly, you wouldn't see overseed anywhere else. Because the temperatures now in the United States have gotten to such a warm temperature that Bermuda is thriving. So yeah, we have Bermuda this week. With that being said, these are also data points. You can also find. You remember that cheat sheet I was just showing you? If you want to use the Google Sheets that I'm talking about, you can click here. You can also use this as your page to look for stats. And I'm just going to show it to you this way. Oh, I forgot to update this. It should say bent grass for grass 1 and Bermuda for the second grass. So in fact, I'm going to change that right now so it doesn't confuse anybody. So the NA is now Bermuda. So both of the grass stats are included. You can certainly use filters on this page. Or for data points, like I was talking about with all the other tools on SweetSpotDFS.com. First of all, let's go ahead and clear all the filters. And I'm going to go back 1 year. Let's just do 1/5/2025. That's fine. Put in the grass stats here. And we can do this one of 2 ways. Or one of 3 ways, really. We can go ahead and just put bent grass in for the greens. And that's it. Or we can put bent grass with Bermuda fairways. You could also put Bermuda rough if you wanted to. But just so you know, the more filters you apply, the more narrow or the limited amount of rounds you're going to get for each golfer. So just for bent grass greens, all of my golfers in 1 year's worth of time, actually, let's go ahead and go 5-5. 1 year's worth of time, we're up at 38 rounds of golf for most of these guys. 30, 32 up to 50 rounds of golf. Now watch, if I apply the Bermuda grass filter as well, these now go down to 4 rounds of golf. And if I drill down on the name for Billy Horschel, I'm not going to find the tournament. How come? I wonder if this was like, oh, this could be the tournament in Reno where we wouldn't have strokes gained stats for. Let's see if I drill down into this. Oh, it's the Zurich. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. There's no, oh, that's what it is. It's these 3 stats drive your ability to see whether or not, okay, I'm probably going to remove that from this tool here because as good as it is, when it has no information, it's not great. That or maybe I just enter zeros in there. We'll figure that out. I'll figure that out. But yeah, look at this. Bud Cauley, Charles Schwab Challenge. Finished 3rd. So those that were talking about him in the chat, that's pretty funny. Yeah. So see how it narrows down the filter? It limits the amount of events you can look at. Ben Griffin, this must be a Zurich plus a Procore plus a Charles Schwab Challenge. So anyways, I would just recommend putting 1 grass filter on at a time. So when we look at strokes gained total for just bent grass greens, we get Russell Henley up top, Bobby Mack, number 2, Griffin, Matsuyama, Thorbjornsen, Fowler, Bosho, Oberg, Ventura, and Harry Hall. These are your top 10 golfers on bent grass greens in this field. Now, if we remove bent grass greens and we put in Bermuda fairways, I think fairways is fine. If you're going to have Bermuda fairways, most likely you're going to have Bermuda rough. So it doesn't really matter if you put that in or not. And when we get to here, now Trace Crow is your top guy, but he only has 4 rounds of golf. And it looks like that's probably the Zurich. Yeah, okay, so that's the Zurich. But JJ Spawn is now at the top. Ben Griffin showed up on both. We have Mac Meisner, Harry Hall, Ludwig Oberg, Rasmus Højgaard, Thorbjornsen, I think, just showed up on both. Ricky Fowler and Gary Woodland. So we kind of have a larger mix of golfers. If you were to add these 10 golfers with the other 10 and then remove the duplicates, we probably have 16 total golfers. So there's not a lot of overlap when it comes to the golfers that are both good on Bermuda as well as good on bentgrass. But I mean, I'll leave that up to you guys to do your own research when it comes to the rest of the golfers, or scroll down a little bit and maybe you find some of the other golfers that were in the top of the bentgrass greens. I'll leave that up to you guys. Just giving you the top 10 of each of those. So that is how I would use the golf course information that you get from me and from other people and from just this website, as well as the tournament stats. Makes it easy. That's how you search for the golfers that matter the most. That's all I have for the golf course and tournament information. We'll move on to the Pass Optimal and GPP winning lineups, but first, AJ says Woods' comment seems like a riddle. Oh, Nate Woods, yeah. Super made me money this week. Yes, yeah, I saw that. By the way, I saw Michael Brennan miss the cut in that really good lineup of yours. Did you have another guy that missed the cut too? You had like Wheels Up in the chat. He had a really good lineup. I mean, he was what, 8th in one of the, I couldn't even tell what contest it was, but he was challenging the top of the leaderboard. Nate Woods, you are welcome, sir. All right, moving on. Pass Optimal and GPP winning lineups. This week is very, very much normal. I wish that DraftKings would provide more 10K golfers. That would be very helpful. We have 2 10K golfers. The thing that I like about this week, and don't get me wrong, I love Scotty Scheffler, but I hate how DraftKings creates the weird salary discrepancies between him and then the second highest price golfer. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It makes lineup building, I mean, it makes it easier, but at the same time, it's also, I don't know, it doesn't follow old traditional ways of building lineups. For instance, if we were to go to, I'm going to go to the bucket system, and I know we're going to talk about the bucket system later, but I'm going to use this on my website, the bucket system. And if we were just to look at the salary buckets, so if I drill down into salary on this page, we are only going to see salaries. And if I scroll down on the bottom of this, there's a separate tool down here called bucket totals per year. And if we drill out of the top 10 counts and we just get a total overview of golfers in this salary, in each of these salary buckets, you will see it's pretty standard, what's the word I'm looking for? The averages remain the same almost every single year, or the numbers remain the same. So for the 10K range, if we go past 2025 and we go into 2024, you get 4 10K golfers, 8 9K golfers, 10 8K golfers, 27 7K golfers, 15 6K golfers. Okay, 2024 is actually this was a bad one to look at too. I need to update this to match the price conversions because there was a 5K range in this. If I drill here, I think when I come up here, yeah, 2024, you can see there's a 5K range. So 2024 and 2025, maybe not great ways or great ones to look at, but 5 10K golfers in 2023, 6 10K golfers in 2022, 5 in 2021, 4 in 2020, 5 in 2019, 5 in 2018, 5 in 2017. It's all pretty much the same. 5 6 or 4 5 6, just within that range. So 4.5 is like your average. Then when it comes to 9K golfers, we've got 7 in 2023, 6, 9, 9, 6, 6, 6. Normally you see somewhere between 6 to 7 9K golfers. And some of these other years we had 9 of them, which maybe that was DraftKings just being a little different. 8Ks, you have 10, 10, 8, 10, 11, 9, 9, 7. It averages up to be 10. For the 7K range, now salaries do get a little bit different, especially when you look at the different field sizes that this tournament has had. In 2013, there was 135 golfers. Then it went down to 123, 121, 148, 121, 132, 135. So the numbers, when the field size grows like that, these numbers will grow also. But normally your 10, 9, and 8K ranges don't grow that much. What ends up growing is your 7s and your 6s. So, but when it comes to 7K, you can kind of see as it goes on, it's going to be in between that 35 to 40 mark. Obviously, 2018 we had 58, but that's DraftKings just doing weird things with salaries. But by and large, we have kind of the same amount of numbers: 32, 33, 38, 43, 37, 35 for 7K. For the 6K range, it does fluctuate quite a bit. It looks like our lower 6K range has always had around 40 golfers in it. And then our higher 6K range fluctuates between 26 to 40. Normally you would see 40 there, and you'd see, 35, I should say, in the high 6s, and then 40 in the low 6s. So what I'm getting at with all of this, when you have traditional salaries, it's very easy to predict, or very easy to assume, which is another word for predict, which golfers from the salary ranges are going to finish inside the top 10. Remember, salaries are a power ranking. They're a lot of it's based off of odds, how good these golfers are. So when we look at the top, like the cream of the crop, how often or how well do they play, or what's the likelihood that these golfers at their salary points are going to finish inside the top 10? Do salaries tell us if a golfer's good on Bermuda or good on bent grass? Kind of. And I only say that, obviously the numbers themselves. Does 10,500 for Ludwig Oberg tell us, does this number 10,500 tell us that he's good at this golf course? No, this number is just a number. It just means $10,500. But he's priced that way because he's good. And he's probably a great fit for this course. And he's one of the best golfers in the world. So salaries do tell us stuff. I'm only saying this because of all the stupid flack I've ever heard about, oh, why do we even talk about salaries? It's because it's a power ranking. It's a power ranking. When you go to the bucket system and we look at top 10 counts, look at this. Hey guys, just so you know, the 10K range does pretty well at this tournament. We had 2 inside the top 10 in 2025, 2 in 2024, 2 in 2023, 2 in 2022, 1 in 21, 2 in 2020, 1 in 19, 2 in 18, 3 in 2017. That's where my salaries stop. So yeah, 10K range, pretty freaking good. And if you drill out of the top 10 counts, you'll get total counts like we were just looking at. Well, there were 2 total in 2025. 2 finished inside the top 10. There were 4 total in 2024. 2 finished inside the top 10. You want to see what's in the top 5? 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0 in 2019, 2, 2. So all but 1 year did we have a 10K golfer inside the top 5. Optimal's probably going to be a little bit different, but not by much. 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1. Yeah. Cream rises to the top at this tournament. 10K range is probably going to be your friend this week. And we only have 2 golfers in it. 2 golfers. Ludwig and Russell Henley. Guess what? They're both really good course fits. If you didn't just follow what I just did in the golf course and tournament information segment, we went over certain data points. Russell Henley was at the top at most of those. Ludwig, not so much. But hey, Ludwig's talent alone might just get the job done. So why not? Why not play Ludwig this week? I bring up all those salaries, or the salaries of this week, because now when we get into the pass optimal and GPP winning lineups, you can kind of get a good sense as what to expect. So the first thing that I like to do with this tool is go into Charles Schwab Challenge for the tournament. By the way, under Fantasy Tools, this is your historic salary builds. And just looking at this event, your most common lineup build, oh wow. If you followed this channel before, you understand it's a 10-9-8-7-7-6. That's typically what you see every single week. Well, when there's traditional salaries and when we don't have Scotty Scheffler at $14,000 or $13,000 or even $15,000, you're going to have a 10-9-8-7-7-6 as your most common successful lineup build. Now, one thing I just failed to mention is I keep track of 3 different types of lineups: your GPP winning lineup, your optimal lineup, and your sweet spot optimal. The difference between these lineups, well, GPP winner, that's pretty self-explanatory. Most of the time, I'm looking at the $5 drive the green contest, unless there's a milli maker or no, let's put it this way. I'm only taking the milli maker if it's not the drive the green contest. I'll just throw that out there, because if I do the $25 contest, there are less entries in that, so ownership becomes kind of weird. And also, not every golfer is actually played in those contests. People get a bit more risky when they play $5 lineups. They'll play the random 6K golfer that no one else is playing. But in the $25 contest, a lot of people kind of guard their money a little bit more, and they don't play as risky of lineups. So, and also you don't get as good of winners from those contests. Like the winners just don't score as many points as the $5 drive the green contest. So it's either the $5 drive the green or the milli maker, depending on, you know, what DraftKings offers. And most of the time for this tournament, the Charles Schwab Challenge, they don't do milli makers. They did it in 2020 because of COVID. This was the first tournament back from COVID, but they rarely do a milli maker for tournaments like this. But anyways, 10-9-8-7-7-6. I do have another lineup down here, the 10-8-7-6-6. This is with a $13,700 Scotty Scheffler. So just throwing that out there. That was last year's event. I wouldn't worry too much about that. And then the other lineup is an optimal lineup that left $3,000 on the table. Yeah, you don't have to worry about that kind of lineup. 10-9, 2 7s, 2 6s. This is with a more traditional build or traditional salaries, but that goes all the way back to 2017. So I don't even know if I'd really worry about that. 10-9 and 4 7s. We get that in 2021, where, yeah, each lineup used 49,400 and above of the salary. That's pretty good. Oh, you know what I forgot to mention? So I went over the GPP winner, right? The optimal lineup is the best lineup you can build, period, under the $50,000 salary cap. The sweet spot optimal is either the second best lineup. Oh, I should say this. It is the best lineup that uses $49,000 or $49,600 of the salary and up, unless the optimal lineup follows those conditions, and then it's the second best lineup that follows those conditions. So the salaries have to be $49,600 and above to be a sweet spot optimal. And again, if the optimal ends up being $49,600 and above, then I go to the second best lineup that you can build that way. And this, to me, should provide you even better results when it comes to lineup builds. But again, 10-9-8-7-7-6, that is your most common lineup build. And if you want to take a look at what those lineups were, all you got to do is go to this other tool I have called Pass Optimal and GPP Winning Lineups, put in Charles Schwab Challenge, and then drill into any year you want to look at, and then drill into any lineup you want to look at. So again, you remember 2025 was Scotty Scheffler. Yeah, so here's the GPP winning lineup. It scored 536.5 points, 13-7, followed by 8-7, 78, 69, 67, 62. If you want to look at the sweet spot optimal, it did not include Scotty Scheffler. By the way, GPP winner scored 536.5. The sweet spot optimal scored 576. So you could have beat a Scotty Scheffler lineup last year because Ben Griffin at $8,700 won the tournament. But that one was a Fleetwood at $10,000, $9,300 Bobby Max, $8,700 Ben Griffin, $7,800 Bud Cauley, $7,100 Rio Satsune, and $6,700 Madi Schmidt. 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. I anticipate that is going to also be the Sweet Spot optimal lineup this week as well. 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6, which makes lineup building pretty freaking easy. In fact, I'm not going to skip all the way ahead to lineup building, but here's what I'm going to do. 33% of my lineups will be Ludwig. 33% of my lineups will be Russell Henley. There'll be one or the other, or maybe they'll be both. Maybe both will be in a lineup in a couple times. If I'm building 100 lineups, and that's what I typically do, 33 of them will have Ludwig in them. 33 will have Russell Henley in them. And it's not that 66 lineups will include either Ludwig or Henley. It might be 50 some lineups that include Ludwig and or Henley. And then the rest of the lineups will just start in the 9K range. And kind of go a 998, 776, or even a 999, 777. Those are always well, in modern times, in this modern, or at least 2026, end of 2025 to 2026, a lot of lineups have been very successful starting with 999, or just 3 nines, I should say. And of course, what you can do when you want to look at that is just in 2026, what's been the most common lineup build? 1098, 776, crazy. 998, 776, 999, 776. So just like I told you guys, I guess not 3 9s and 3 7s, but 999, 776 works, or 998, 777. Like I said, I do this every single week. I pay attention. I can see what some of the most common lineup builds are. Yeah, I think that's the way to go about it this week. No Scotty. So lineups are going to be more traditional. 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6 is probably the best way to go about it. That's all I have when it comes to the pass optimal and GPP lineups. I'll leave it to you guys to come to SweetSpotDFS.com and do your own research. Come in here. I'm kind of showing you. I'm showing you a lot of the results, giving you a lot of the information that you can use to build your own lineups. If you want to get more into the weeds, hey baby, it's there for you. You can use it if you like. David K, what's going on, man? Thanks for the info. Let's go. Absolutely. I had 5 of 6. That was 8th and a 6 of 6. Siwoo, Jordo, Sungjae, Brennan, Subaru, Gomez. Hey, you happy that I got you off of Scotty Scheffler last week? You were going to go 100%, weren't you? I remember you saying you were going to go 100%. Logan, how did you get on Gomez? He was a late scratch, right? I saw that he was replacing someone off of withdrawal. I think it was David Ford. I thought he was very accurate on the Korn Ferry Tour. Cool. And when he is playing a very accurate course, I thought he would do really well. Earlier in the year, he was doing really well in the KFT and needed a cheap value guy. I liked how he was striking. Salary saver. Yeah. And if you think about it, if he's replacing, those guys are getting a second chance on tour. You know, I don't know. It'd be great to see what the results are of guys that make Monday qualifiers or alternates, late withdrawal replacements, stuff like that. I wonder how well those guys do just in general. Okay. We are going to move on to the bucket system. And then when I'm done with the bucket system, we're going to do a roll call. I know every one of you guys are going to be saying roll call in 20 minutes, but I'm going to finish the bucket system and then we'll get into the roll call number 1. All right, bucket system first, though. Okay, if you want to follow along with me, I do have a bucket system that looks very, very much like this on the cheat sheet. If you go to the cheat sheet and on this page, so go to SweetSpotDFS.com, link in the description down below, go to this cheat sheet. When you scroll down, you'll find this one right here. Or you can use this one. This sheet right here, this acts as a Google Sheet on the website. It's a little clunky, so it might not be as good, and I don't think you even get to use filters on this. No, you don't. You just see the whole page. So my recommendation is clicking here. Once you click there, a new page opens up. I'll zoom in for you guys so you can see it. It looks very much like the spreadsheet that I am using. And here you can find the bucket system. There are filters you can use at the top, the little ribbon that's at the top. Go find the filter views, go into the bucket system, and that way you can follow along with me. And quite frankly, how I've kind of made this segment into is, are the projections correct? If you don't know, I have bucket projections. I'll zoom in for you guys so you can see them a little bit better. I have bucket projections under, they're just called max, PROJ projection, min projection. So max and min. And this is just telling you my prediction of how many golfers are going to be inside the top 10 from each of these buckets. I have 36 total buckets, 6 stat categories with 6 buckets in each of those stat categories equaling 36 buckets. So you could just look at one of these stat categories and that's all that you would need. Or you could just use the optimizer, the SweetSpot DFS optimizer that has all of the conditions already baked in. So when you go and click run optimizer, it is looking at each and every one of these projections that I have right here. I mean, these are conditionals, but these conditionals are driven by those projections that I'm going to show you. It's going to follow all the way through this. So you will never, for instance, last year one, you'll never have more than 3 golfers that are a last year one, but you'll always have at least one. And now I have shaped this segment, this the bucket system segment into, are these projections correct? Should we play or should we keep these conditions in there for the type of golfers that are in each of these buckets? This works a little bit differently when Scotty Scheffler is in the field, because then we got to say to ourselves, if Scotty's in one of these buckets, how does it affect the rest of the buckets? Because we know Scotty Scheffler is going to be inside the top 10, the best golfer in the world. And we just know he's going to be inside the top 10 all the time. And if not, he's going to be knocking at the door of a top 10. So he's going to be one in whatever bucket he's in. He's going to represent at least one of them finishing inside the top 10. Well, when he's overpriced, we don't want, we want to kind of ignore those projections. So we almost have to remove him from the field and see what the projections are after he's removed to see, oh, hey, this actually changes how this bucket looks, or this bucket, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through each of these buckets and just make sure the bucket projections are correct. And if they're not, I'm going to change these. And so if you request an optimizer after I'm done streaming, you will have an updated optimizer with the correct projections from this video. But here we go. So if you want to follow along, again, put a you can do it any way you want. I'm just going to be looking at the projections right here and determining if they're good enough. So I'm going to go to this page. I'm going to hide this column, and I'm going to drill down on DraftKings and just go through each of these buckets. So I'm going to go ahead and put into this condition. Sorry, we're going to go like this. Sorry. Clear, and then go last year one. Actually, I'm going to show you guys how to use it this way. I instead am going to use this cheat sheet. You guys are welcome to use this cheat sheet as well. So if you just drill into the buckets, this is so much faster because it's all button related. So we can put the filters in as buttons. So here's your last year one bucket, and you can see the finishes that they had from the year before. Of this bucket, do we really think 1 to 3 of these golfers will finish inside the top 10? I'm going to save you time. Yes, of course. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 9K golfers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8K golfers, 3 7Ks, and the rest 6Ks. Don't really care about the 6Ks, but it's worth mentioning, you know, hey, you might be able to play them in a lineup or two. So I'm going to keep this projection as a 1 to 3. 1 to 3. and just keep it there. The next 3 buckets, last year 2, last year 3, last year 4, are 0 to 2 buckets. So let's go through each one of these. Last year 2, we've got Hideki Matsuyama and Akshay Bhatia as our main golfers in this bucket. Keith Mitchell's $8,800. He was $9,400 last week. That might be a good value. Mac Meisner, $8,000. Grazerman, $79,000. Poston, $76,000. This is actually a bucket. I think maybe because there's just not enough golfers in it. Like if we remove the 6K range, and a way we can do this is actually just grab salary 2, 3, 4, and 5. Actually, let's get rid of 5. Now we only have 9 total golfers. So how I like to look at something like this is, do I want to play any of these golfers, you know, let's make it easy, 10% or more. Matsuyama, yeah, but barely. Bhatia, yes, but barely. Keith Mitchell, yes, but barely. And Mac Meisner, yes, but barely. The rest of these guys are probably going to be right at 10%, 8 to 10%. Maybe Grazerman can get up to 12%. So all of those numbers that I would apply. So let's put it this way. Let's go Matsuyama at 14%. Akshay at 14%. Keith Mitchell at 12%. That alone gets you, what is that? 14, that's 28, 14. That's well, let's just say we're at 40%. Grazerman will put, or Mac Meisner will put at 12%. So now we're at 52. So those 4 golfers, we got a 52%. The rest of them are not going to equal over 100. And so therefore I would never make this a minimum of 1. Because if it was at a, if those numbers are here, let me throw in my calculator. I think that's probably the easiest way to do this. I'm a visual person. I rather see it. So I said, all right, let's put Hideki at 14% exposure. I don't want him in more than 14% of my lineups. Same goes with Bhatia, but that's actually kind of a high number. I might want like 12% of him. But let's go 14 plus 14. Keith Mitchell, I said 12. Mac Meisner will go at 12 as well. Or maybe not. I like him more at like 14%. Grazerman, I'm going to put him at 12%. JT Poston's probably going to be 8%. Sam Stevens will probably be 12%. Eric Cole will probably be 10%. And Patrick Rogers will be like 8%. So we are over 100. And that's because I kind of fluctuated with all of them. But 104, I probably want this number to be more like, forget that it goes up there. I want this number to be more like 120 at least, 120, 125. Because at 104, if I put all of these projections as narrow as they are, I suppose we do have a 6K range, so that can kind of be our buffer. The thing that I was just about to say was, when it's that close to 100, 104 to 100, this optimizer isn't that smart to figure out, oh, hey, I shouldn't even say it that way. How numbers work. So like 0 to 10, the numbers are very large. So if you make one lineup, that means one of your golfers has owned 100% of your lineups. If you build 2 lineups, but one of those golfers that was in your previous lineup is no longer in the second lineup, that means now his exposure or his ownership is at 50%. And it starts to taper off. But those first few lineups that you build, if you try to choose any one of these golfers that I had right here at least once, or hope the optimizer will pick them at least once, you'll get to a point where it won't be able to select any of them because their ownership is too high. So it gets kind of funky sometimes when it's that close to 100. So I'd like 120 to be kind of the threshold in order to make this a 1. And that's the whole reason I'm getting at with this is, should this be a 0 to 2 bucket, or should this be a 1 to 3 bucket? That's kind of the whole purpose that I'm getting behind this. Are there enough good golfers in that bucket that we want to make it a minimum of 1? And kind of just to test this out, if I go back to this spreadsheet, again, you guys have access to this, and we look at the projection here, it says 0 to 2. It doesn't say 0 to 1.99. It doesn't say 1 to 2.01 or something like that, where it's kind of questionable that we could play maybe 3 golfers. I mean, it does go up to 1.83 on a different calculation that I make over there, but not quite over 3. I'm pretty comfortable making this a 0 to 2 bucket. So now that you have that thought process, or I've shared that thought process, I'm actually going to cruise through the rest of these because I don't want to spend too much time going through the bucket system. Last year, 3s. Is this a 0 to 2 bucket, or is this a 1 to 3 bucket? This is a 0 to 2 bucket. If it starts at $7,000, I'm not making this a 3 bucket. So that's easy peasy. Last year, 4 bucket. This is going to be a 0 to 2 bucket as well. The next bucket is questionable. The last year 5 bucket says on this projection 1 to 3. But I know when it's 2.19 like that, that's pretty close to being under 2. And that means we can't have, it's not a for certain that at least one golfer is going to be out of that bucket. So I like to make it 0 to 3. Although in all reality, this should be a 1 to 3 bucket, but we can take a look. Should this be a 1 to 3 bucket, or should we keep it as 0 to 3 based off the golfers that are in it? We have Alex Smalley at $9,100, Michael Thorbjornsen at $82. Then we drop down in the 7K range. I can already tell you, I mean, it doesn't even go, it's like 3 golfers in the 7K range, then it goes down the 6K range. I'll say this right now. I'm sure most of you guys have heard this before. Never fall in love with the 6K golfer, but never disrespect one. I'm not going to fall in love with this bucket because 6K golfers dominate it. And because of that, it will never be a 1 bucket for me. It'll always be 0 for minimum, a minimum. Always be a minimum of 0, but I don't mind playing up to 3, although that's kind of questionable when I look at some of these names. How would 3 end up working out? Like if I just take the salaries that are 2, 3, and 4, not 5 and 6, because that's the 6K range, I only have 5 total golfers. Could I play 3 of these guys in a lineup? Of course. I mean, remember the 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6 method of building lineups? Well, I've got a 9K golfer here, an 8K golfer, and 3 7Ks that I can build lineups around. That'd be fine. However, it's very limited. It's only 1 9K golfer, 1 8K golfer, and then I have the option of 3 7K golfer. But if you include the 6K range, now, you know, again, 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6 includes a 6K golfer. Well, look at how many 6K golfers. It's 5 minus this number. It's 23 6K golfers. So maybe this is where we find our 6K golfer to put in our lineups. And there are some good names. Tom Hoagie, wonderful name. TCU graduate. He loves, I think he loves Texas. Chad Ramey's not a bad name. Matt Hughes not a bad name. Kevin Yu probably not a good course fit here, but hey, he can get the job done. Zach Blair, William Mao, Brandt Snedeker. I think this is actually a decent golf course for Brandt Snedeker. If you want to follow Byron into either the Promised Land or the Shadowlands, I'm not quite sure where he's headed, but Neil Shipley would be your guy because he loves some Neil Shipley. And that's back 9 bets, of course. God, there's some other names down here. Heck, this might even be a Charlie Hoffman week. He finished 54th at the Byron Nelson. He has played this course well in the past. We went over this in the preview video Byron and I did on Sunday night. Hey, Hoffman was one of those guys that constantly showed up. You know, constantly showed up. So, yeah, that bucket 5, I'm keeping at 0 to 3. I am not moving it to a 1 to 3. 0 to 3 is perfect. And now, wow. Last year's 6 is a 1 to 4 bucket. These are golfers who they did not play last year. Some of them have course history, some of them do not. We've got Ludwig and Russell. That automatically makes it a 1 for me. But then there's also Justin Thomas, $9,800. Keegan, Sungjae, Sahith. The 8K and above range, there's 5 of them. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, these guys are going to be at 33% for me for exposure. I'm sure JT is going to be like 20-some% for me. And then from here, I love me some Sudarshan Yellow Miraju, especially this week. I think it's a great play. Some of these other guys I don't really so much care for, but yeah. Billy Horschel is going to be a 6K golfer that I'll put in my lineups quite a bit. AJ Ewart is another golfer that I want to be putting in my lineups this week. He just, I don't remember at the beginning of this week what it was, but I just saw, I'm like, yeah, that looks good. I don't mind playing me some AJ Ewart. Again, I'm not going to fall in love with the 6K golfer. I also implore you guys not to fall in love with the 6K golfer, but hey, there's a bunch of them down there. So this being a 1 to 4 bucket, I think is absolutely the correct choice. It's difficult to anchor around 2 of these guys. And although I don't think you're going to build lineups with 4 of these golfers, I guess it's possible. I mean, Henley and JT together, or even Ludwig and JT, if you started that way, you could drop into AK range with Sung Jae. I mean, shoot. Let me bring this over here. Let's build a lineup that looks that way. So let's clear this out and go Henley, JT, and let's go with Sung Jae. You have $7,200 to work with. If I went down to, say, where's my boy Horschel? We go with Horschel. Now we have 74. We come up here to the 7K range. Was there a name that we saw that we're like, oh, that works? Well, Yellow Mirage, let's put him in. Now I have $7,500 to work with. So, yeah, we've got some good names. Hey, Kenny Kim's favorite guy, Andrew Novak. There you go, 1098-776. That works wonderful. And how many last year 6s do we have? We have Henley, JT, Sung Jae. There's 3 already. 4 with Yellow Miraju. Oh boy, did I pick too many? I think I picked too many. It's 1 to 4. Yeah, there's Horschel already. Horschel, how about this? Horschel, Yellow Miraju. Oh, maybe we don't do Horschel. Either way. Who was the other guy that I had in that lineup? Novak was, and Novak must have played because I didn't see his name. $7,500. No, so we're good with Novak. We can change it to a different 6K golfer. Who was it? This bucket that was close to being a 0 to 3 or whatever. Oh, we're just a little off on Hoagie. I don't want any of those guys. Do we go back to the last year 1 bucket and look at the 6K golfers that were there? Yeah. Carl Phillips, Ventura, Grillo. There we go. We found our replacement, Grillo. I don't mind that. There. Now I have a lineup that follows all those bucket constraints. That works. Works for me. Okay. Moving that back over to my other monitor. So that would be the first bucket to look at. Last year ones. Now, moving on from there, let's go to last week ones, or the last week bucket. So we are looking right here. And we're going to go through the same thing. But on my optimizer, it's this way. So 1 to 3 last year ones, or last week ones. Golfers that played last week. 1 to 3. Is that going to be true? We have Keith Mitchell, Pearson Coody. I love me Pearson Coody, by the way. Rio Satsune, Sung Jae Im, all 8K, all in the 8K range. There's no 9 or 10K golfers that are from this bucket, which is a bit concerning. Those 4 8K golfers, I actually really like this week. I could actually play them at least 20%. Each one of them. Sung Jae, Rio, Coody, Mitchell. And I can, man, that might be my lineup strategy, by the way. Wednesday night, members only for white tier members on this YouTube channel. Go click the join button down below. Go check out all the tiers that I have. Red tier, $199. I build lineups for you during these strategy videos. The white tier gives you access to watch the Wednesday night live streams. And then I also have a black tier and I believe a gold tier, which gives you other things. So go check those out. But yes, tomorrow, you know what I'm probably going to do? This is most likely what I'm going to do with my lineup builds. I already told you I like Ludwig and I like Henley. I might just take Russell Henley, lock him in when I build lineups. And then with this 8K range here, depending on the Marquee Tee Times, I've got no idea right now who Henley is playing with. But it's Im, Rio. Actually, I can just look here. This column right here. So Mitchell's one of them. So I'd probably build a lineup like this with Henley and Mitchell. And then when I was done building that lineup, I'd go Henley and Hisatsune. Actually, Pearson Cootie. They are not in the same group, thank God. I can see Sung J Im is in the same group as Henley. That sucks. Actually, that's a great bucket or a great Marquee Tee Time to grab golfers from. Because Justin Thomas is also in that bucket. That is a very good bucket. Can't believe, or a very good Marquee Tee Time. I can't believe they're not in the same. I can't believe they're not number one. But anyways, so yeah, I'd build a Cootie lineup. And look at this, Henley, Matsuyama, Cootie. I mean, hey, who wants to go back to Kevin Roy? Who wants a little bit? Who loves themselves some masochism? You know, who likes to hurt themselves? And then I would do the same thing with Henley and Hisatsune. And I'd build my lineup, and this one has Ricky Fowler attached to it. So that's kind of how I would attack this bucket. And I absolutely love the 1 to 3. Well, that's me. If you don't like those 4 golfers, and then you don't like 4 golfers down here or whatever, because I don't mind. I'm going to be playing Max Grazerman. He is turning, like he's looking really good. Finau is also kind of turning around, but I think that could be that might be a trap. Like, if you haven't seen his putting stroke, it's just nasty. It's so disgusting. That to me is just a trendy putter. It's not going to work every week. That's just not going to get it done. But hey, if you're a believer in Finau, here you go. It's your time to go with it. I don't mind more. Probably a little lukewarm on Jaeger. Last week was a golf course that he could spray it around. This isn't one of those golf courses that you can spray it around like you could last week. Rico Hoey, if you're kind of a believer that he can, yeah, whatever. Bosho, Kiefer, and Niergaard Peterson, those 3 golfers, sign me up. I don't mind playing any 3 of those guys. And then when you get down here, sure. Hoagie, Suber, Ewert, all great 6K options. I mean, the fact that Jackson Suber's 6,600 and Ewert is also 6,600. Actually, we should ask Logan in the chat. Logan, is it a Suber week again? I know you're kind of always Suber weeks, but after a good performance, is it a Suber week? We'll let our Suber whisperer in the chat let us know. But yeah, that's a decent bucket. So 1 to 3 works for me there. Going to last week 2s. 0 to 2 for the next 3 buckets. So let's see. I'm just gonna once over this. Yeah, 1 8K golfer, 4 7s, and all 6s. That's not a 1. We are not anchoring around one of these golfers. So yeah, 0 to 2 is fine. That works for me. Last week 3s. Oh my God. 7 7 7 7. So 4 7K golfers. I don't mind the names. I like John Perry. I like Svensson. I like Smith, and I don't mind Tom Kim. But this is not going to be a bucket I am anchoring around. Moving on. There are only 6 total golfers here. It'd be ridiculous to anchor around any of them because it starts at 75 and then it goes down. So no, we are not anchoring around any of those golfers. Last week 5s. What do we have as our? This is a 1 to 3 bucket. This is actually a very interesting stat category. The last week finishes. Last week 5s, 1 to 3. So here's what we got to kind of keep in mind. We are locking in 4 golfers just from this bucket family. I don't know if I feel comfortable with that. So I'm going to try to come up with reasons on why not to have at least 1 last week 5 or at least 2 last week 6s, if I can. And I guess the first thing to note is this bucket here, last week fives. Here's the reason why we're not going to anchor one golfer around this one. And I'm going to check right here. This is a 1.15 to 2.29. We have 48 total golfers in it where we normally see 28. We do have a 91% frequency rate of getting, finding golfers from this bucket inside the top 10. And oh, by the way, you can also use this bucket system as well. I don't have projections tied to this just yet, but all the same numbers you're seeing on here, you can see there as well. Except for, I actually have a lower number for last week fives. Let's take a look. Why is that? 0? Oh, it's counting 220. It's counting 2020. That's why. The spreadsheet is actually right. I forgot I need to put in an exclusion rule. If none of you guys know how to run a database or to maintain a database, you got to put rules in for some of these because it counts. It'll count all of the years unless you say, hey, skip this year. This 2020 Charles Schwab Challenge had no tournament before it. None. So it was they're all going to be last week's sixes. That's probably why that number is going to be higher than what it needs to be. That is my bad. Actually, no, this would be proper. This would be proper. Yeah, never mind. Okay, so 1 to 3. Just looking at the cheat sheet, this is not a 1 to 3 bucket for me. I do like Thorbjornsen this week. I mean, he played really well last. No, he did not. He missed the cut last week. Oh, I mean, this is a good buy back into, but these are like a lot of bombers, and it's not even required to be a bomber at this golf course. Although being a bomber doesn't really hurt you. It's just the strengths of being a bomber kind of get mitigated at this golf course because it's a bit tighter than, well, it is tighter than last week's tournament, that's for sure. But this is not a 1 to 3 bucket, guys. Not a 1 to 3. This is a 0 to 3, just based off of talent alone. Last week's sixes. We have oh my God. Yes, of course. We're most likely going to be starting 10-9-8 or 10-9, or we'll have a 10-8 in our lineups from this selection of golfers. There's so many of them that are 8K and above, and they're all good names. So easy. This is a 2 to 5 bucket. Yeah, that makes sense. No, it's a 2 to 6 bucket. It doesn't really matter. You could actually grab all your golfers from this bucket and be okay with your lineup. That's great. Golfers who didn't play last week. That's nuts. That is nuts. Okay. Moving on. Going to course history ones. We have 3 golfers in that bucket. I think this is probably a 0 to 2 bucket. Yep. That's a 1 to 3 and a 2 to 5. Okay. 0 to 3, or 0 to 2, I should say. That's fine. There aren't, none of these golfers are like, we got to play them. So that works for me. This is a 1 to 3 bucket. We've got Henley in it. We've got Matsuyama, Bradley, Hall, Cootie. Do we want to play more than 3? Maybe, but maybe this is where it helps it limit us so we don't play too many bad golfers. We limit the bad plays. 1 to 3 is good. We're going to keep it that. I'm not even going to overthink it. 1 to 3 is fine. And then course history 3 is 2 to 5. So we go into the course history 3 bucket. Lots of 8, 9K golfers. So yeah, we're probably picking a 9K golfer to anchor our lineups around, doing the 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. And then what do we got? We have 88, 85, 83. Ooh, that's iffy. That's iffy. Razorman, Thompson, Poston, Stevens, Novak. Boy, I'm not seeing, unless we do 2 9K golfers. So here's where strategy comes into play. I know that I want to build 33% of my lineups with Ludwig in them and 33% of my lineups with Henley in them. Then the rest of the lineups are going to start with 9K golfers because we only have 2 10K golfers this week. But here's the issue. If I start with 2 10K golfers, remember Henley and Sungjae Im are playing together. And so too is Justin Thomas. Those 3 golfers are playing together. And we haven't gotten to the Marquee Tee Times, but I'm looking ahead. That takes 2 of those 2 golfers from this bucket out, or not 2, at least 1. It's JT and Sungjae. Well, if you take Sungjae out, that means that's an 8K golfer you're getting out. I like Rio. I like Keith Mitchell. Those guys I'm going to be putting into my Henley lineups that also go with one of these 9K golfers, whatever one that is, or maybe a different 9K golfer. The question comes down to, outside of the 8K and above, how many of these 7K and belows do we really want to put in our lineups? I'm not sure. You know what? Maybe the rest of these 7K and above will equal 100% on their own for ownership and exposure. Because, I mean, we can make an argument for Max Homa this week. It's not a very, well, the strength of field's high, but it's the lowest strength of field this event has seen in a long time. I think he can thrive at an event like this. He doesn't have to hit it too far. He just has to hit it in the right spots. So I don't think it's really asking much of him, of his game. I think he can thrive here. Castillo, I think, is fine. Rogers, I think this is a good fit for him. Olesen, I mean, last week was his first week back in a very long time. Maybe that's rust. Maybe it was just rust that kind of put him, there. Maybe he's a good play this week at $7,200. Eckroat, I like. Kim, Putnam, I like. But he did withdraw. I'm not sure exactly why he withdrew last week, but he did. So keep that in mind. But he was playing decent. Kirk, I like. Novak, I like. Stevens, I like. Postons, Davis Thompson's, and Grazerman, I like. So you know what? I'll keep this a 2. Sure. Kind of went through that. I know that was kind of a lot of whatever, but I'll keep that a 2. I think this course history 4 bucket's supposed to be a 1 to 3, but I change it to a 0 to 3. So let's take a look at course history 4. Do we want to play at least 1 golfer from here? We've got Thigala, Gerard, Jaeger, Hoey. No, not at all. So 0 to 3 works for me. You could also just make it a 0 to 2 and just limit your bad plays. Guys, that is what we're going to do. This is going to be a 0 to 2 bucket. We are limiting our bad plays. I don't like this bucket. I don't like the golfers in this bucket at all. I don't even think there's a reason I want to play 3 of these guys. Nope. Okay, moving on. These next 2 are 0 to 2 buckets. We'll probably just go through this fast. Decent names, but yeah, 0 to 2 is fine. But decent names. You could make the argument 0 to 3, but nope. And then course history 6 is also a 0 to 2 bucket. Is that true? Oh, hold your horses. 0 to 2. Here's what this means. There are some names we just can't put together. Oberg. So hold on. If we're doing 0 to 2, that means we could do an Oberg lineup and say Yella Miraju lineup, but it's going to exclude Thorbjornsson, which I guess is fine, honestly. It's going to exclude Højgaard. It'll exclude Smith, Jordan Smith, Hautong, Bosho, Kiefer, Niergaard Peterson, Brent. These bombers I just don't care for at this event, but like a John Perry, a AJ Ewart, I like quite a bit. I think Matthew Pavon isn't a terrible choice here. But by and large, yeah, 0 to 2 is probably going to be... You know what? Here's the thing. If you're not playing Oberg, these other golfers, it's fine. Having just 2 of these guys, it's fine. So if you're making an Oberg lineup, this is what we're going to have to remember when we build lineups. We're making an Oberg lineup. Let's change course history 6 to 0 to 3. Because Oberg's going to represent that lineup. So... I'm going to type in Oberg right there. This should help me remember that this is probably going to change. And it's funny that's right next to Michael Thorbjornsson's name because he's also... Oh, no, he was in the last bucket. He's not in this bucket. Oh, he is in this bucket. How? Course history 6. Oh, I was looking at the wrong thing. Yeah. He's a course history 6. Although I need to make that update up for you guys. Withdraws on my spreadsheet are 5s. Withdraws on the website are 6s. Because withdraws don't mean anything. Withdraws are usually because of sickness or injury. That's why. Okay. So we just went through all the course history buckets. You know what? Let's do roll call number 1. I think the next couple buckets aren't going to take that much longer, but I don't want it to be 1:30 or an hour 30 and us not do a roll call. So roll call number 1, just type in SweetSpot DFS. Or let's hit the sweet spot. Let's hit the sweet spot. For those that don't know what the roll calls are, this is just me rewarding you guys for listening and being here. You get entries into the giveaways that I'm running, whether it's the weekly giveaway or the monthly giveaway. David K, nice to see you. Johnny B. Oh, nice to see everybody. Nathan, you won a giveaway. I don't know if you saw that. Add $5 to your pot. David K, I don't know what your name is completely, but we're going to put it like this. That way we know it's you. Ryan, nice to see you. Okay. Anybody else I'll add afterwards. Okay. Getting back at it. We've moved down to the recent form buckets. Recent form 1, 0 to 2. Do we want more than 2? And I think no. Oberg, Fowler, Smalley, Meisner, Moore, Gim, Cole, Bosho. So you got to make up this decision. Do you want more than 2 of these guys in your lineup? If so, what truly is, like, how close is this for working out for you? And I would say not super great. It's got a 32% success rate. This bucket is just increasingly successful, or just, it's crazy how successful it is. 32% is one of the highest percentages I've ever seen. 0 to 2. By the way, hold on. Look at this. Look at this. I want you to see this. I already see this. I see this already. Recent form, 10K. 10K has a 40% success rate. 40. Then, I mean, the 9Ks are pretty high too. 22% equally. 32% success rate. Actually, let's look at the website. What is that? What does this show? Is that the same thing? 33% for recent form 1, 41% for the 10K range, then 22. So yes, and strokes gain 1, 22%. Come on, come on, come on. You guys, come on. Look at this. Watch this. Watch this. Ludwig is a 10K golfer. He's in this recent form 1 bucket. Remember the percentages that I was just telling you guys? He's in this bucket. He's in this bucket. We go back to the cheat sheet. Oh, look, he's in the strokes gain 1 bucket. Come down here to strokes gain 1. 19%. On the website, it's higher. It's 20%. So I'm not sure. I'd have to look to see where the differences are. What other buckets is he in? Hold on, just wait. Last year 6 and last week 6. Last week 6, not a great success percentage, and last year 6, not a great success percentage. But comparatively to the other successful percentages, it's pretty in line. I mean, the last year buckets, all of the buckets are almost the same. 12.34 is the highest, 5.48 is the lowest, but 7.23 is where Ludwig is there. The highest is last week ones for this event, but we can make the argument that it's just not as quality as previous Charles Schwab challenges are. If we were to go back into the history and look at all the last week ones, and sure, why not? Let's do that right now. Last week ones, go to the website. This is the best place to look this up. Last week ones, just drill down on the last week ones. And now we get to see who those golfers were on this page right here. So now we can look year by year if we want, who was all in this bucket, especially by salaries. If we were to sort by salaries, it was Scheffler was in this bucket. Sure enough, he finished 4th. Ben Griffin was also in this bucket. He won. Outside of those, Harry Hall finished 6th. So 3 guys finished inside the top 10. Go to 2024. We got Scheffler and Morikawa. Keegan Bradley, the only other golfer that finished inside the top 10. Okay. 2023. Oh, wow. Scheffler yet again. Remember, last week ones. These are golfers who played the week before, finished inside the top 20, and then came over to this event. It's only Scheffler. And, I mean, Rose was 12th place, so that's up there, but we're counting top 10s. 2022, you had Sam Burns, $9,700. He finished 1st, but then we had 2 AK golfers that were 4th and 7th. Okay. 2021. I mean, it's just like, all right, $8,700 Charlie Hoffman. You remember me talking about Hoffman? Only 1 golfer from that bucket was in there, despite some of how good these other golfers were. 2020, yeah, we wouldn't have had any stats for 2020, but then you had Jordo back in 2019. Kevin Na. And okay, well, hey, there's an argument to be made here that, you know, you don't have to be the greatest of golfers to be successful from that bucket, but going back to that bucket, I'm going to go ahead and remove recent form ones. Go back to last week ones. You know how all those fields I just showed you, all of the years at this Charles Schwab Challenge, I showed you had a 10K golfer in all of them. Pretty much every single year had a 10K golfer. Had Scotty Scheffler in them, had Jordan Spieth in them, Colin Morikawa. You get none of that this week. None of it. The good golfers from last week were like, we're not going to play the next week. Schedule just doesn't work out for us. We don't want to play. So now we get these AK golfers. If there was ever a moment where this last week one bucket was, you know, just not as successful, this would be the week. This would be the week. I know I just made a 1 to 3 argument for it. That has a lot to do with the AK golfers that are up here. And if we went back, again, going back to this bucket system, remember what 2018 was the only year we didn't see an AK golfer or better inside the top 10. Every other year we saw at least had to be in the AK range. We had 2 7K golfers in 2018. But again, I'll go to 2019. 10-9 was your guy that finished inside the top 10. 2021. We did have Hoffman, $8,700. We had a big, large group of 8K and above golfers. 2022, it was 8K and above yet again. Let's actually move down to 2017. This is my last year of salaries. This is where it was successful going further back in time. 6th place finish for Danny Lee. 2nd place finish for Sean O'Hare, who's 7,500. And then not as successful in the 10K range. But since 2018, let's just say since COVID, actually since 2018, all of your success for the last week one bucket was 8K and above. So it would just be these 4 guys. I made all of that argument because we were looking at Ludwig Åberg not being in that last week bucket, that last week 1 bucket. He's in the last week 6 bucket. Sure. This last week 1 bucket is super successful in comparison to the last week 6 bucket that Ludwig's in. But remember that bucket, the last week 1 bucket had better golfers in it than this year. That's all I'm trying to get at. The quality of golfers from previous years that were in this bucket, this last week 1 bucket, are better than they are this year. And when we look at like Ludwig being in a bucket that's not as successful as the last week 1 bucket, we can just ignore that. And really all this comes down to is Ludwig might just be the play this week. He might just be so much away and better than anyone else. I might even increase his exposure on my end to 41% now. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to have Ludwig in 41% of my lineups, Henley in 33% of my lineups, and maybe altogether Henley and or Ludwig will be at least in 33% of my lineups. Because they might interject. I might have both of them in my lineups. So yeah, I don't know, man. The more I go through these buckets, the more I'm liking Åberg, the more I'm liking Fowler, and the more I'm liking Smalley. These 3 golfers alone are just super good to put your lineups in. And what did we say? This bucket is a 0 to 2 bucket, which is fine. It's fine. We can anchor around these guys and be just okay with that. Let's move on. Recent form 2, recent form 3. Both these buckets have very large gaps between the minimum and the maximum. So recent form 2s, 1 to 4. Starts with Justin Thomas. We have Ben Griffin, Keegan Bradley, Keith Mitchell, Pearson Coody. I like Pearson Coody this week. Gary Woodland, Bud Cauley. We have a pretty good number of golfers that are 7K and above. And I mean, they all fairly decent. I mean, Mitchell and Coody were in the 8K grouping for the last week 1 bucket. Remember, like, if there were golfers that I was going to anchor around, those were going to be them. I also like Justin Thomas. Shoot, you could build. Let's see this. Hold on. Just wait a minute. I'm giving you guys some ideas of lineup builds in the future. Ludwig, he's in group 2. JT is in group 3. Sung J.M. is in group 3. Oh, wait. Darn it. I wanted Sung J.M. Is it Fowler that I want instead? It's Pearson Coody. Is that who I want to actually anchor my lineups around? I think it's Pearson Coody. That's okay. Yeah. That's where I'm getting at. Pearson Coody, group 5. Those 3 golfers. I like these 3 golfers. It's a pretty good lineup. I even get Max Homa in there that I was originally talking about. Do I like Kevin Yu that much? Probably not. Let's try a different one. Lee Hodges. Yeah, sign me up. This looks good. Do I care for Max Homa? Not so much. But if you didn't care, there you go. You have them. Chris Kirk, Yellow Mirage, the mustache man. I don't know if I like the mustache man. Davis Riley. If you're watching any of Byron Lindeque's streams, Davis Riley was on his list of golfers that he's been talking about. Okay, so there's a lot of low 6K golfers. Apparently, my optimizer is really liking this week. Here's a 10-9-8-7-6-6. That's okay. That one's fine. Just keeps doing this. All right. I am going to tell the optimizer to stop choosing Chris Kirk. I like Yellow Mirage a little bit better. If you can stomach Kevin Streelman, Sam Stevens with Yellow Mirage, that ain't bad. I'm looking for a lineup more like this. This is a lineup that I like. Yellow Mirage, Grillo, and Glover. Yeah, give me a Byron and I were talking about this Sunday night. Give me an old man to put in your lineups or something like this. This is my lineup. This is my favorite lineup I think I will build tonight. You guys are welcome to steal it. I'm not going to tell you which contest to put it in because that would be breaking TOS from DraftKings. Some people are very scared about that, but as long as I don't tell you where to put the lineup, we're fine. We are fine. Okay. I don't know if it's raining or what, but I just heard it sounded like running water through one of my windowsills, but it could also just be, or not sills, but window, just one of my windows. Could also just be the tarp that's over my window because they're painting around it that fell down. That's probably what it was, but we'll figure it out. I don't hear it anymore. I just heard it briefly. Okay. Moving on to the next bucket. Recent form threes. This is a 2 to 5 bucket, or is it a 2 to 6? What was it? 2 to 5. It's got Henley in it. Henley, Matsuyama, Spawn, Batia, Hall, Hisatsune, Sungjae. So there's Sungjae for us. Oh, brother. Okay. Ludwig was in that first bucket, recent form ones. So if I bring this back up, he was right here, recent form 1. Oh, I was looking at the wrong one, 2 to 5. It is 2 to 6. Recent form ones, he was 0 to 2. These other buckets, where we want at least one golfer from recent form 2 and at least 2 golfers from recent form 3, let's look at this. Like, if we started our lineups with Henley, no problem. I don't have an issue with that whatsoever. Unfortunately, Sungjae's in this bucket to go with Henley, but I mean, Logan in the chat, he doesn't care. He wants Sungjae in his lineups. So you could go with Sungjae and any of the guys around him, whether it's, I mean, Henley's in the same Marquee Tee Times, so we just aren't going to do that. If you don't know what that is, it's basically under group right here. Henley's in group 3, Sungjae's in group 3. So we can't build a lineup around Sungjae. Or Sungjae and Henley. But so there's Sungjae. We could pair him up with Hisatsune, or we can come up into the 9K range. Maybe we like JJ Spawn or even Hideki. So we could do that. Here's where it gets a bit challenging. Remember, we're not anchoring around recent form 1, so we can kind of ignore Ludwig. But if you remember in recent form 2s, we want at least one golfer from here. 1. Justin Thomas is in this bucket. Is it Pearson Cootie? Maybe it's Pearson Cootie. Maybe it's this might be a, if the bucket system is going to be successful, maybe this is a tournament where a bunch of 8K golfers finish inside the top 10. We do have 7K golfers we can choose from, by the way, and 6K golfers from this bucket that can also be successful. So you guys can create these narratives in your head. Whatever you want it to be, you can create these narratives in your head. But we could go Cootie from this bucket to make it a 1. Remember, this is recent form 2. We want 1 to 4. So if we like Sungjae, maybe we go ahead and put Cootie in this lineup. And now we need one more golfer from this bucket. Not this bucket, but the recent form 3 bucket. We need one more if we're going to make, you know, these minimums, if we're going to follow the minimums to its fullest. Remember, we don't have to. There is a likelihood that golfers from this bucket finish inside the top 10, but you wouldn't put in a lineup to take down a GPP. But still, they will finish inside the top 10. So my projections will be right. We will want 2 golfers from here, but maybe we can only play one of them. So again, we had Im in our lineup. We could go ahead and put Hisatsune, or I suppose we could start with Matsuyama or JJ Spawn or Batia. I mean, if we're doing the all 8K range, I really don't like the all 8K range, but oh, I do need to pick a golfer from the 9K range. Okay, let's go ahead and do Matsuyama then. Group 1, Group 5, and Group 3. So this would be following the recent form buckets to its fullest. So again, we do get Yellow Mirage in there. We go Ricky Fowler, so it's a 998876. That works just fine. That works just fine. It is worth noting that if you are also going to follow the salary projections that are down here, and you were to start your lineups with Ludwig, I think you're going to run into trouble because these 8K golfers are going to make it almost impossible to grab a 9K golfer from here. So if you are following me and you like these two 8K golfers, chances are you have to make a decision, one or the other. And maybe you don't care for Sung Jae. That's fine. Maybe it's this way. Justin Thomas is in that bucket, right? Oh, he's not. No. Justin Thomas is not in the bucket. We need Hideki. We probably need Decky or Spawn or Batia for our 9K golfers. Or we get rid of, maybe we get rid of Pearson Cootie and we grab JT from this bucket. That's probably what it is, right? That's probably what we want to do. So if we were going to do a Ludwig lineup, we could go like this. We can go Oberg, JT, but because yeah, we got to get rid of Cootie. We can't put him in there because he's playing the same group as JT. By the way, you can choose whatever you want to do. If you want to break those rules, go for it. But we can do that and then probably choose Hisatsune. This is group. Let's go to group 3. Go back to recent form 3s. So Harry Hall, Hisatsune, Im, Thorbjornsen, Thigala. Let's do Hisatsune. I probably like that one better. I actually like Im more. Let's put it that way. I do like Im more than I like Hisatsune. But if I'm kind of doing the Marquee Tee Times, everything else, this would be a lineup that follows the recent form buckets. And we still get a pretty solid lineup. I mean, I don't really care that much for Rico Hoey, but we can certainly put a lineup like this together. Let's see, what would be another good one? And Yellow Mirage is just like a staple, and that's fine. Oh, look at that. We get Max Homa and Emiliano Grillo yet again. So we kind of built this lineup not too long ago. And we instead hand built, you know, these 3 golfers following the recent form buckets. I'm okay with this. I mean, it's grabbing golfers from each of these recent form buckets absolutely fine. So I guess we keep this one a 2 to 5. Course history 3s. That's this lineup right here. Or not course history, recent form 3s. Sorry. That's this right here. And there are also good 7K golfers. Grazerman, I don't mind. I don't mind Gerard. I'm kind of lukewarm on that. Lukewarm on Finau. Lukewarm on Poston, but I like Sam Stevens. I like Kirk. Oh, there's Yellow Mirage. There we go. Yellow Mirage's in this one. I like Kim. I like Putnam. Yeah, there's a bunch of 7K golfers we could choose from. There's Max Homa down there. I get Ewert. Yeah, there's a bunch of golfers from this bucket. A 2 to 5 is just fine. Just fine. The next couple buckets are 0 to 2s. Recent form 4. So now we're going to make the argument, do we want to play more than 2? Do we want to anchor around at least 1? And just looking at the names, it's 9,900 down to the low 7K range, then into the 6K range. There's no way we're anchoring around this lineup. And I do not want to play more than 3. So 2 is just fine. Recent form 5s. This is an average missed cut. You can see over the last 7 weeks, it's all missed cuts. All missed cuts. And there's not even there's not good enough names to even want to play. Recent form 6 means they haven't played on PGA Tour in the last 7 weeks. That's Albert Hansen and Kevin Kisner. Yeah, there's no way. There's only 2 of them, so obviously that stays to 0 to 2. Okay, now we kind of get into the different types of buckets. We are getting into the salaries and strokes gained buckets. I will start. Let's recap the salaries. I'm not going to go to the other. First I'll show. Yeah, I'll just show you that the salaries here. These are your projections for the salaries. Don't mind the 6K. There's several down there, but 10K is 0 to 2. 9K is 1 to 3, 8K is 1 to 3, 7K is 1 to 4. So here you go. 0 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, and then it's just 0 to 2 for the 6K range. I think just by salaries alone, we just went through the golfers. There's only 2 10K golfers. You have Ludwig, you have Russell Henley. You don't have to anchor around them. I'm not, well, My exposures so far that I have set, Ludwig's going to be 41% and Henley's going to be 33%. And it's going to be an end or situation with those guys. So they might overlap into the same lineups, and that will mean that even though Oberg's exposure is 41%, that does not mean 41 lineups are going to just be separate from 41 lineups aren't just going to be Ludwig with no Henley in them. Some are going to have Henley in them. Let's just say maybe there's 5 of them. That means 30. Well, we take 5. Okay, hold on. I don't know how to explain this. If I have 41 Ludwig lineups, let's put it this way. If I have 41 Ludwig lineups and we're going out of 100. So if I'm building 100 lineups, 41 are Ludwig, I'm not putting 33 on top of that to make it be 74 lineups are either going to have Ludwig or Henley. Some of them are going to have both of them in it. So 74 lineups wouldn't be true. Maybe I have 67 to 70 lineups. Somewhere in there are going to have Ludwig or Henley or Ludwig and Henley. So at least 70% of my lineups are going to have Ludwig or Henley. And those are the 10K range. That's a 10K range. Look at that. 40% success rate. 40% success rate of 10Ks. Normally we see about 5 10K golfers. We only have 2 this year. Last year, there were only 2 10K golfers. We already went through this. And 2 of them finished inside the top 10. One of them was Scotty, obviously. Who was the other one? You had Scotty at 13,000 and then Tommy Fleetwood. I would put Oberg in the Fleetwood category, but I also wouldn't put Henley that far behind. You know, Scotty, obviously, best golfer in the world, but yeah, 10K is going to be interesting. But now, what I was saying with that is 1 to 3 9s, 1 to 3 8s, 1 to 4 7s. The fact that it's pretty strict with the 1 to 3s for 9s and for 8s makes putting 2 10K golfers together difficult. It does. You will have to change the exposures of these, or you'll have to change the projections of these. So if I'm going to build that, say, Ludwig and Henley lineup, I'm most likely going to have to change the 9 here from 1 to 3 to 0 to 3, and the 8K range here from 1 to 3 to 0 to 3 as well. I think that's the only way to build a lineup. And if I were to lock in both Henley and Oberg, and okay, everything else is clear. Cool. And I built the lineup like this, it would go 10, 10, 8. So that's pretty good, but you can't really put a 9K golfer with that because look at this. There's 2 6K golfers right there. It's the only way to make a lineup like this work. Again, same thing. Here we have 3 7s, so we don't even have an 8 or a 9. I don't even think you can. I'll lock it in. We'll lock in a 9 as well as an 8 and just see how this looks. It breaks. The optimizer breaks. So yeah, you could not anchor those 2 golfers and still have the rules set in here for at least 1 9K and at least 1 8K. Just won't work. Just won't work. So throwing that out there for you guys to see, throwing it out there for you guys to kind of digest and figure out what you want to do with your lineups. But that's your 10K range. Now talking about strokes gain stats. If you're following along on the spreadsheet, all you have to do for this is if you have all the golfers available to you, just sort by strokes gain. You can see that it's all color coded this way. But I'm going to use the website like I've been doing. Go down to strokes gain 1. If you want to know what a strokes gain bucket is, this is how you would do it. Go here. You can go strokes gain last. All these buttons that are right here, you get to see. It's all the strokes gain stats are based off strokes gain last year. All 4 stats are positive. You see this? Strokes gain off the tee, approach, around the green, and putting. They're all positive. That makes them a strokes gain 1 golfer. We got both our 10K golfers, Ricky Fowler and Mac Meisner. Those are the 4 guys that are strokes gain 1. If I go back to this, it's just a 0 to 2 bucket for strokes gain 1. That's it. And if I were to use the website, 0 to 2. Or not the website, the Google sheet. 0 to 2. The next one's a 1 to 4, followed by a 1 to 4 or 1 to 3, and then a 1 to 4. So here's where it's going to get a bit tricky, just like the other times. If we are anchoring around a 10K golfer, those other golfers in those other buckets are going to have to be cheapish. They're going to have to be somewhat cheap. So let's go ahead and take a look. So strokes gained 2. This was a 1 to 4. We get Bobby Mack, Alex Smalley, Bradley, Gary Woodland. Those are the only 8K and above golfers. And then it's Matt McCarty, Højgaard, Taylor Moore, Yellow Mirage. So Yellow Mirage is just going to always be a golfer I think I'm going to want to be put in my lineups. If for whatever reason, say you're doing the game theory aspect or a game theory angle, a pivot point from him would probably be Eckroat or Taylor Moore or Rasmus Højgaard. Maybe it's a Rasmus Højgaard week, despite how bad he's been playing. You know, like he burned me last week. He burned me the week before. Højgaard, 62. He finished 62nd place last week. He finished 65th the week before that. Like, if you've been rostering him, you've been burned by him. You're happy he makes the cut, but you've been burned by him for having these just awful finishes once he makes the cut. And by the way, if you want to see what strokes gained 2 stats are, everything is positive off the tee, everything's positive putting, and then it's a mix and it's just whatever's in between. It could be negative approach, it could be negative around the green. Either or. Is this a 1 to 4 bucket? I don't think so. I can't make this a 1 to 4 bucket because there's not enough good golfers in here that I have to anchor one golfer around. I mean, if there is one, it's Yellow Mirage. I like him a ton. Trace Crow also, by the way, he showed up. Really good Bermuda stats, right? I think he was he was the top guy for Bermuda stats, but it was only 4 rounds of golf that we were measuring. Is there even like Homa's been showing up quite a bit in these lineups, but maybe that's because of the strokes gain 2 bucket being a 1. Would I be okay anchoring around any of these golfers from Max Homa up? Homa? No. Castillo? No. Power? No. Rogers? No. Olesen? No. Eckroat? No. Yellow Mirage? Yes. Taylor Moore? No. Rasmus? No. McCarty? No. Woodland? Yeah, maybe. Bradley? Yeah, maybe. Smalley? Yes. McIntyre? No. I don't have enough guys that I'd anchor around. I think this is going to be, in fact, I'm changing this right now for everybody. This is not a 1 to 4 bucket. This is a 0 to 3 bucket. This is a 0 to 3 bucket because there's not enough good golfers in it. But perhaps this is where one of you guys sees a favorite golfer of yours, or maybe you had a hunch or a premonition on one of these guys being a good play this week. This is the way to anchor your lineups around that one golfer, whoever it is, whoever you like. This is your opportunity to anchor around one of these guys. Would I want to play 4 of these golfers? I don't think so. But you know what? McIntyre, Smalley, Bradley, Woodland. Let's see what that looks like. I want to see a lineup with those 4 golfers in it just because. I might not actually be able to build a lineup that doesn't break because wait a minute. There is something fishy between strokes gain 2 and 3 between the website and my optimizer. This says 3 for Pearson Cootie. Just barely, though. Oh, boy. Yeah, actually, another good reason. Well, now that you add Pearson Cootie to that one, like on the optimizer right here, Pearson Cootie is a 2. Strokes gain 2. He's the only guy that's slightly different. I'm going to make him a strokes gain 3. So, but anyways, let's go ahead and put in Woodland. Okay, right away. Smalley and Bobby Mack are in the same Marquee Tee Time. So we can't pair them up anyways. So can't do that. We'll have to pick one or the other, and for me, it's not going to be Bobby Mack. It's going to be these 3 golfers. So I could build these 3 and get a decent lineup. I get AJ Ewert in there with Chris Kirk, Gary Woodland, Bradley, Smalley, and Fowler. That works for me. That is actually okay. So if you wanted to, strokes gain 2, you could play up to 3. I'm not going to anchor on any of these other guys. There's Yellow Mirage. Okay, let me try Yellow Mirage. I'm surprised he wasn't selected, but let's see. Okay, we can build a lineup that doesn't break. It's actually a pretty balanced build. Smalley, Bradley, Mitchell, Woodland, Yellow Mirage, and Michael Kim. You can also put Grazerman in that lineup with Sung Jae. That ain't bad. Smalley, Bradley, Woodland. Actually, I kind of like this lineup. Kind of like it. Kind of like it. Okay. But you see how you can still make some very unique lineups following the bucket system. It all works out. Going to strokes gain 4. This is a 1 to 3 bucket, and look at, it's Justin Thomas at the top, Hideki Matsuyama, Ben Griffin, Batia, 9K range, then Harry Hall, 87. Then it drops pretty steeply. Wow. Wow. JT Matsuyama, Griffin, Batia, Harry Hall, Brian Harmon, Seabez. I don't think it's worth really talking about any of the golfers below. There's AJ Ewert and Jackson Suber. I have Billy Horschel, who I also like. Do I really care about this bucket being a 1 to 4 bucket? I don't see 4 golfers that I'd want to build my lineups around. JT Matsuyama, I could build around those 2 without any issue. Batia, maybe. Harry Hall, sure. Harry Hall actually wouldn't be a bad choice this week. You know what? Here, let's do this. I'm going to have the optimizer select at least 3 strokes gain 4 golfers. We'll see if it works. It does. It builds a lineup of Fowler, Matsuyama, Harry Hall, Stevens, Yellow Mirage, and Bosho. Okay, who was it? It was Harry Hall and Matsuyama in that group. And was it Stevens at 76? Was that the other guy? No. Who was it? Decky and Harry Hall. Got that. Is it Zachary Bosho? Where you at? Yeah, there he is. 7,200. Okay, so it was him. So that works out. You build a lineup like that too. If you were, that was one of your favorite buckets to build around, the strokes gain 4 bucket. Not one of mine. But yeah, Matsuyama. It's a good reason to get on Matsuyama or Harry Hall or even Zachary Bosho or Boshu. I can't remember how you say his last name. Here, let's look it up right now. I'm curious. I've probably been saying his name wrong this whole time. I want his name to be Bosho to be like Boat Show. He's the Boat Show. It's Boshu. Boshu. Bummer. Can't call him the Boat Show anymore. There it is. Boshu. Zachary Boshu. Okay. I'll go through these other buckets. Not really gonna matter. Oh, by the way, Justin Thomas being a strokes gain 4 golfer, he's barely a strokes gain 4. He's barely not a strokes gain 1, and he's barely not a strokes gain 2. He is probably above and beyond. Well, not above and beyond. He's still bad enough for these things. So anyways, Ben Griffin is actually closer to being a strokes gained one golfer than Justin Thomas is. Just throwing that out there. But Tia, not so much. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Look, it's a decent bucket to pick golfers from because there's some pseudo strokes gained 4 guys. They're more like strokes gained 2, strokes gained 1 guys. Okay. Last 2 buckets to look at for the strokes gain. Strokes gain 5 and strokes gain 6. Is there anybody in here? Well, actually, yes. There's a lot of good names. Thigala, Grazerman, Finau, Novak, Kim, Dechasar, John Perry, believe it or not. He's barely won. 0.066 in the negative off the tee, but still negative putting, so that ain't good. But it's okay. He's close. That's kind of a pseudo strokes gain 5. Hoagie belongs there. That is awful. Beyond awful. I mean, we could look at the last 7 weeks, and this is, you can kind of do a discrepancy thing here. If you see some really good stuff, I mean, look at the putting. That's all bad. Dumont Dechasar, this negative 1.124. The guy bombs it off the tee. This means he gets into trouble quite a bit. But if he doesn't, these stats look pretty good. Although these stats are probably where they are because of how bad he is off the tee. So yeah, not so much. None of these guys really inspire confidence. I was hoping one of them be just slightly different. Tom Kim, I guess. Tom Kim. Positive off the tee, positive approach, bad on putting. Hey, if you're missing some, you're missing some. But his ball striking is really good. So maybe a Tom Kim thing. But yeah, strokes gained, I'm going to keep it 0 to 2. Let's limit ourselves from bad plays. That's the whole purpose of the bucket system. And then there's one guy with strokes gained 6. That is Albert Hansen. Do not worry about that guy. Those are all your buckets. We have time for Marquee Tee Times and then a roll call, and then we're going to start building lineups. Tell us more about JT. Seems like you want to like your guy more than you should. Are you caught up with me, or are you watching something from the past? At least it's not Neil Shipley, Byron. Jeez, Neil Shipley of all people. Of all people. Okay. Yeah, Marquee Tee Times. Here we go. If you want to follow along, you can do so following me on the cheat sheet. If you look at the cheat sheet, so this is free for everyone. Fantasy Tools cheat sheet. Scroll down until you find this one right here. Click here. When you're here, you will have the same Google sheet that I'm going to show you with the group rankings under column O. Column O. If you sort group ranking from A to Z, you will have all of the Marquee Tee Times. And the purpose that I go over this is going back to the 2021 PGA Championship. I've been keeping track of this, and the success rate of what I'm about to tell you is over 90%. You want to select 2 to 4 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times. So the 9 best groups. So under group rank, 1 through 9. It's all color coded over here. You will not see a golfer or a ranking colored green that is not in the Marquee Tee Time. So that is your kind of color coordination. That's how it goes. These are your Marquee Tee Time golfers. So you want to select 2 to 4. On top of that, you do not want to pair up golfers in the same tee times. And that has over a 90% success rate as well. So altogether, if you 90 and 90, you get somewhere like 81% and greater at the minimum that follow these rules. So first group is Bobby Mack, Alex Smalley, Hideki Matsuyama. If you like any one of them, just play one of them. Don't play all three, and don't play two. Although you could probably get away with playing two of them, I just recommend not to. If you want to play the numbers, you just don't pair golfers up together from the same tee time. Unless it's Showdown. Showdown, it works that way, but not all 4 rounds. Group 2 is Ludwig, Gary Woodland, and JJ Spawn. So if you are on Ludwig this week like I am, probably don't play Woodland, probably don't play JJ Spawn. Bud Cauley withdrew. Yeah, I asked somebody in the chat earlier because someone was like, I had this big Bud Cauley rant and that's why I was late. But that was like, oh, did Bud Cauley withdraw? And I got no answers from it. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, he's in the last group down here, so that helps. Okay. Yeah, if you're building a Ludwig Oberg lineup, just stay away from Gary Woodland or JJ Spawn. If you're fading Ludwig because of ownership reasons, perhaps maybe this is how you pivot. This is a different way of pivoting. Instead of going pivoting by price tags, you're pivoting by Marquee Tee Times. Now you just go down to Gary or JJ. Actually, never mind. This would be the right way to do it. Just kidding. Yeah. That would be a good way to pivot. The next group, Henley, Sungjae, and Justin Thomas. I like all 3 of those golfers. I already determined I'm going to build 33% of my lineups with Russell Henley in them. I might put 25% for Justin Thomas and probably 20% for Sungjae M. So I might have pretty darn close to 100% exposure of lineups having at least one of these golfers in them. It's going to be very close. It's not going to be, obviously, with the numbers I just gave you, it's not going to be, but I could increase those numbers a little bit here and there. But yeah, I think Sungjae, I'm going to cap at 20% or maybe just a little bit below 20%. And then JT will probably be like 24.5%. I could make the argument, Byron, of putting JT up to 33%, but I don't trust Justin Thomas that much. 1 out of 4 lineups, I don't mind, but I don't think I can do 1 out of 3. That seems a bit too rich for my blood. I don't think I can do that. Keegan Bradley, Ryan Gerard, and Brian Harmon in group 4. Bradley, Gerard, and Harmon. I don't care for any one of those golfers, but I don't care if any one of them is in my lineup. So I'm not anchoring around those guys. I'll let the optimizer choose one of those golfers to put in my lineup out of its own choosing, out of its own randomness. But I am not anchoring any of my lineups around those guys. The next group is an interesting one. Mac Meisner, Pearson Coody, and Austin Eckroat. I really like Pearson Coody. I also don't hate Mac Meisner. I know that the consensus is that he's going to be a popular golfer this week. Like, his ownership's going to be pretty high. I have a feeling that Pearson Coody's ownership is going to be high as well. I think maybe there's a chance that people go more balanced with their builds this week. If you wanted a good pivot point, Austin Eckroat's not bad. I kind of like Austin Eckroat this week. I don't like him. Oh, you're fading JT this week? Byron, you're fading JT? You want to do a little beer bet right now? I will bet Justin Thomas finishes better than 20th place to your Neil Shipley finishing better than 40th place. It's a two-way bet. Or we can make 2 bets, or we can make one big bet. Maybe it's a parlay. But I am going to say JT under 20th place and Neil Shipley over 40th place. You can bet JT over 20 and under 40 for Neil Shipley. I think I beat you. Ricky Fowler, Justin Thomas, Ludwig, JJ Spawn, Ben Griffin, Alex Smalley, Russell Henley. Those are the highest owned golfers projected so far. Yeah. Hey, people are sharp nowadays. I don't really care about projected ownerships anymore. We saw that last week. Every high-owned golfer finished inside the top 20. I told you on the Sunday night show, I don't like Shipley as much this week. I will find a warrior to take on JT. Okay, that's fine. Ricky Fowler, Ben Griffin, Tom Hoagie. The fact that Tom Hoagie's in this group, it hurts the group ranking that Ricky Fowler and Ben Griffin could be in. But altogether, I think it's a decent group. I think if you give Hoagie an opportunity to play against good golfers, I bet you it rises his performance up. I like that a lot. Next group is Taylor Moore, Michael Kim, Sahith Thagala. I don't care for any three of those golfers. The optimizer selects them. Wonderful. I'm not anchoring my lineups around those guys. The group after that, group 8, is Akshay Bhatia, Brandt Snedeker, and Tony Finau. Wow. Oh, I will say this. I think group 7 down to like group 12, if I add all the points together in the threesomes, there might be only a difference of 40 points between all 5 of those groups. So like this group here, Bud Cauley, Sam Stevens, Lee Hodges. I was just told Bud Cauley withdrew, so obviously that's a thing. Bud Cauley withdrew. This group is going to be next. So I'm just going to change it on my side. Because I don't like the Marquee Tee Times are based off of that. And if I make this group 10, it doesn't matter. It's not going to matter to you guys. It's not going to matter to the optimizer. It's not going to matter at all. Bud Cauley withdrew. Just throwing that out there. Let's go ahead, update that right now. Bud Cauley, $8,100. He's one of the lowest values in the 8K range that I have. I'm going to move him to 0. And group 9 is going to be no longer group 9. And now group 9 is going to be a different group. It's going to be Matt McCarty, Davis Thompson, and Michael Brennan. So we'll start with Michael Brennan, group 9. Okay, can't put him. Yes, I can. What are you talking about? Oh. What the heck? Oh, it's because I copied this over from that one time. All right. We'll do this. Format painter. Look at that. It's all, well, nope, it's not good now. All right, don't mind me. I don't know how the heck that happened. Don't mind me. Give me a second here. I apologize. I probably shouldn't have done this before looking at it. It works. We're good. It's fine. I don't like the little green tick marks that are over here, but I think those are always that way. Go away. No one likes you. I had up to 12 groups, by the way, at one point in time. That's what that's from. Okie-doke. You forgot the Marquee Tee Times now? After this, I'm going to go back to watching videos of retiring and... Okay. This is group 9. What else was group 9? Was it Grazerman or... No, it was Davey Boy Thompson. It's Davey Boy Thompson. Okay. Brennan, McCarty, and Davey Boy Thompson. Here are your groups again, AJ. Group 1, McIntyre, Smalley, Matsuyama. Group 2, Oberg, Woodland, JJ Spawn. Group 3, Henley, Sungjae, JT. Group 4, Bradley, Gerard, Harmon. Group 5, Meisner, Cootie, Eckroat. Group 6 is Fowler, Griffin, Hoagie. Group 7 is Taylor Moore, Michael Kim, Sahithagala. Group 8, Batia, Snedeker, and Finau. And then now your new group 9 is McCarty, Davis Thompson, Michael Brennan. Take a screenshot. We're going to build lineups here pretty soon. If you got a badge next to your name, I'll build you lineups, but pick 2 to 4 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times, preferably. You don't have to, but the optimizer will. So you can do it right now, or you can give me 2 to 4 golfers. However, before you give me lineups, we're going to do roll call number 2. There's AJ. I already posted it in the chat. Sir. I beat you. You got to pay attention. Roll call number 2. Who will win this week? While that's happening, we're throwing some music on. Bucko. Okie dokie. All right, for those that have badges next to their name, give me 2 to 4 lineups. Or I'm sorry, give me 2 to 4 golfers to build lineups around. We'll build some lineups now. Taylor as in Taylor Moore? Which Taylor are we talking about? Who we talking about? Which Taylor? I imagine he's the only Taylor in the field, but I'm not sure. I mean, we got a lot of Taylors usually. Not Swift. Ah, we got a wise guy. We got a wise guy in the chat. I see. Meh, say meh. Oh, Joanne, I forgot to add your name to the other giveaway. Joanne, make sure you're live. Hit the little live button down here. If you see my message go through the chat before you hear me say it, chances are you're behind. There is a 10-second delay between you and I, but if you're seeing that a minute before you hear me talk about it, you're way behind. You gotta catch up. All right, is that it? Is it just AJ? AJ's the only one to give me a lineup? Is that where we are? It's all, the video is going to be all information and no lineups being built? I'm just setting my exposures for tomorrow. I'm gonna actually remove Bud Cauley from my list. I moved those lineups, but this stays the same. This is a pretty good lineup. It's a different line. Oh, that's a cool way to make lineups. Just like cut golfers out and then move up and then just see. It'd be your kind of your cascade level or a way of building lineups. Byron wants Thomas Shipley, Justin Thomas and Neil Shipley. Probably. I hope his lineups do put Justin Thomas in there with Shipley. God, I can't wait. Can't wait. Can't wait. All right, AJ, your first lineup is Oberg, Griffin, Harry Hall, Taylor Moore, Chris Kirk, and Vince Whaley. I don't hate Vince Whaley. Lineup after that is Oberg, Batia, Pearson, Cootie, Moore, Yellow Miraju, Max Homa. The lineup after that has Chandler Phillips. I don't think that... If you want this lineup, here you go. Here it is. That's a good lineup. 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. Oberg, Matsuyama, Hisatsune, McCarty, Taylor Moore, and Chandler Phillips. I'm just going to skip Chandler Phillips. I guess here's the same lineup with Davis Riley. Let's save that one. That's fine. Oberg, JT, Michael Thorbjornsen, Novak, Taylor Moore, and Lipsky. I don't care for Lipsky, but that's a lineup at least. There's Kuchar if you want Kuchar. I don't care for Kuchar. Grillo I'll do though. Oberg, Thomas, Thorbjornsen, Taylor Moore, Patrick Rogers, and Emiliano Grillo. Fifth and final lineup is Oberg, McIntyre, Mitchell, Moore, Hodges, and Ewert. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 6. It's a pretty good lineup. Pretty good lineup. Ricky versus JT straight up? No. I like Ricky better than JT this week. But it's close. You know what? Byron? No. Byron, wait. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Just wait. Just wait. Just wait. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. Because you know what? You need a win, my friend. You need a win. And I'm willing to handicap myself to give you a bit of a little heads up, a little head start. So you got it, buddy. You got it. I'll do that bet with you. It's a win-win for me. If you win, I win. If I win, I win. Oh. If you wanted to see Psychology 101 in display, that's it right there. That's how we disarm our friends, our loved ones, just with a comment like that. You got it, buddy. You got it. Ricky, Finau, and Grillo. You're digging deep, buddy. Holy crap. Where is Finau? He's 7,200, isn't he? Is he more than that? Oh my god, he's 7,700? Since when? Emiliano Grillo. We need a live stream of the best sweat. Joanne, that's like 2 days. That's Sunday and today. You know what? We had a thunderstorm, Joanne, the same night you had a thunderstorm, and we're projected to have thunderstorms tonight, which it might be raining outside. I'm not sure. Anyways, first lineup for Mr. Henson, who wanted Ricky, Finau, Grillo. You get Justin Thomas, Fowler, Cootie, Finau, Højgaard, Emiliano Grillo. Follow that up with Fowler, Smalley, Bradley, Grazerman, Finau, and Grillo. Follow that up with Fowler, Matsuyama, Mitchell, Finau, Olesen, Grillo. McIntyre, Fowler, Thigala, Grazerman, Finau, and Grillo. Oh boy, how many of these are just so similar? A lot of Thigala, it feels like. Maybe not. Oh, never mind. I'm wrong. Joanne, good luck to you, both with the weather and with your lineups also. Justin Thomas, Fowler, Hisatsune, Finau, Højgaard, and Grillo. Ooh, we get a little Højgaard action. Okay, those are your 5 lineups, Mr. Henson. Someone in the chat posted, I forget how to say your name, but it's OCAP Sot B. You came in earlier and you said, and we're back, baby. Different week, same question. T20, pick 3, basically, right? 3 to top 20. You want the best odds of top 20s, like it's a parlay or something like that. Let's go with Yellow Mirage. Yellow Miraju, Tom Kim. You get to choose either between ooh, I don't want to go Jackson Super. Jackson Super was the first thing on my, or first person I thought on my list, but I don't want that anymore. How do Canadians fare at this tournament? Is this a Canadian type of golf course? I don't know. Let me hold on. Wait a minute. Seen a lot of ball strikers. Looks like a lot of ball strikers do well here. Lots of ball strikers do well here. Lots of Seabeds too. Holy crap. It's a ball strike in Haven. Holy moly. Okay, well, let's hold on. Tom Kim. All right, well, Tom Kim is speculative. PK Ultra, baby. Oh, yeah. I'm trying to make the biggest odds possible here. Fuck it. I'm going to go with AJ Ewert. AJ Ewert. Not Carl Phillips, but Carl Phillips is not bad. Let's just do AJ Ewert. AJ Ewert, Tom Kim, Sudarshan, Yellow Miraju. Those are probably high odds, right? It's got to be. What did we do? What? Sudarshan? Oh shoot, there is a Seabeds in this. If you wanted to be safer, I would go like Sudarshan, Bez, and Kirk. Grazerman you could add to that, but what did I have? A Tom Kim. Dude, you could put Grillo in there. Hold on. Just wait a minute. Do we put Tom Kim in there? Yellow Miraju, Grillo. I like those two for sure. I put Austin Smotherman in too. You could put Smotherman in there too. All ball strikers. These are ball striking mavens. I like that one better than the original one, but the other one probably has higher odds. And that's all I'm going for is just value, baby. Value. Alrighty. Going on to the next lineups. We've got Mr. Byron Lindeque, who is going with Cootie and Henley, which is kind of my favorite. It's a good combo that I like quite a bit. Cootie and Henley. Let's get some Justin Thomas in there. And, oh, we can't do Justin Thomas because Henley's in the lineup. That's why. I'm going to get you a Neil Shipley lineup. Do we go back to Kevin Roy? Did you say you'd go back to Kevin Roy? I can't remember. I think you did. Maybe I'm wrong. It's a good lineup. I'm going to kick him out just for now. Maybe I'll bring him back. This lineup is okay. Henley, Matsuyama, Cootie, Kirk, Hoey, and Homa. You're one ho short of a ho of a Santa Claus. You're one ho short of a Santa Claus. And you could Santa Claus it this week because we do have Billy Horschel in the field. A lineup like this is fine. Henley, Matsuyama, Cootie, Kirk, Yellow Miraju, and Mark Hubbard. Sure. That works. Henley, Griffin, Cootie, McCarty, Stevens, and Lipsky. Sure. Let's put Lipsky in a lineup. Whatever. I don't care for Lipsky. Don't care for Kuchar. Wait a minute. Henley, Griffin, Cootie, Hoey, Boshu, Rogers. 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 7. How many Hoeys do we have in your lineups already? Okay, we only have the one. Got it. It's been trying. Hoey's been trying to get in your lineups. Batia, Henley, Cootie, Gerard, Hoey, Castillo. Okay. Don't hate it. None of these are like overly sexy. Oh boy. Henley, Smalley, Cootie, Hisatsune, Brennan, and Jackson Suber. Oh, you know what I need to do for you? I need to get you a Shipley lineup. I totally forgot. Where's that loser? $6,500 for Neil Shipley. Torbjorn Olesen. Holy. Well, this is a lineup. Henley, Batia, Cootie, Hisatsune, Olesen. I don't think I'm getting there. I don't think I'm getting there. Putt. Ooh, here's a lineup. Henley, Batia, Cootie, Woodland, Putnam, Shipley. That's a lineup that Byron can get behind. But I'm going to kick Batia out and see what else we can get. Some of these guys are kind of full ownership for 9Ks. The only guy that'd be left is Ben Griffin or JJ Spawn, which I'm sure it's going to pick JJ Spawn. It didn't. It picked Smalley. Henley, Smalley, Cootie, Davis, Thompson, and Putnam to go with Neil Shipley. Let's kick out Putnam. That's actually a pretty good lineup. And it breaks. Then it breaks. Interesting. What if I increase Ben Griffin's ownership to 22%? Or even Matsuyama's? Well, you did say Ramey at one point in time in our podcast. Henley, Matsuyama, Cootie, Thompson, Ramey, Shipley. I'm gonna only let it pick one 6K golfer. Makes it. Okay. So Matsuyama is your glue piece there. But what if I don't let Ramey become a thing? Still breaks. So Ramey's a glue piece to go Shipley. That's sad. Okie-doke. I'm not sure I can get behind this lineup, but it's okay. Henley, Smalley, Cootie, Satsune, Brennan, and Jackson Suber. All right. We will go with Joanne, who wants Fowler and Alex Smalley. Should be a decent lineup. Fowler, Smalley, Mitchell, Gerard, Seabez, and Homa. That's actually pretty good. Fowler, Smalley, Thigala, Grazerman, Seabez, and Sam Stevens. I do like Seabez. If he gets picked one more time, probably kicking him out. Okay, he got kicked out himself. Fowler, Smalley, Harry Hall, Gerard, Sam Stevens, and Kiefer. That's actually a really good lineup. 998777. Fowler, Smalley, Harry Hall, Sung JM, Tom Kim, and Kevin Roy. I bet you she doesn't like Kevin Roy. Fowler, Smalley, Hall, M. Bezadenhout, and Kevin Yu. I don't want Kevin Yu. No. All right, Seabez, you need to take a break, pal. Fowler, Smalley, Harry Hall, M. McCarty, and Matt. Oh, God. Jesus. Go away. Okay, this is cool. Fowler, Smalley, Hall, M. Kim, and Horschel. That works for me. Fowler, Smalley, Hall, Hisatsune, Castillo, and Michael Brennan. I don't like Michael Brennan that much. Not at a golf course like this. Okay, let's kick out Brennan. Try again. Fowler, Smalley, Hisatsune, Harmon McCarty, and Jordan Smith. I like that lineup. Cool. Okay, that was Joanne. That's it. That is all that I have. That's a-okay. I'm at 2 hours and 40 minutes in my stream. I will take any last minute questions. I will be streaming tomorrow, Wednesday night, for members only. You got to have a badge next to your name. You got to be a white tier member and above. So check out the join button on the channel, either right here down to the right, or if you're watching this, or if you just go to my channel, it should be over on the left side. Just look for the join button or the dollar bill symbol, I think. Join the channel, become a white tier member and above. You will see my streams Wednesday night. I'll give you my last little bit of strategy when it comes to building lineups. I kind of already deployed my strategy, or at least told you about my strategy during the I tried to send that set. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Nathan? I've tried to send that set a few times. Not sure why it's not coming through. What set? What do you mean by set? Like the optimizer request? Oh, maybe you got whitelisted. You couldn't okay, gotcha. It's weird because like you posted Sung JM as your winner this week, and then you couldn't put Cootie and M. Wonder if YouTube thought it was a, hey, my buddy, he likes to try to come in and screw around, and every time he says that he tries to call me a name or whatever, YouTube blocks it. Like the algorithm blocks it. So maybe it thinks like Cootie M or I'm Cootie or something like that is a whatever, a slang for something. All right, here we go. We get Matsuyama, Harry Hall, Cootie, M. That's 3 8K golfers. Kirk and Yellow Miraju. Okay, that's Kirk Yellow Miraju is just one of those pairings that shows up a ton. Let's stagger that ownership. I like Kirk a lot this week, actually. I shouldn't say a lot. I like him a bit. We'll do a little Yellow Miraju action here. Okay. Matsuyama, JJ Spawn, Cootie, M, Yellow Miraju, and Max Homa. Don't hate it. What about EVR here? I don't have a feel one way or the other. Don't have a feel one way or the other. I also don't really care for him that much, to be honest with you. Ben Griffin, Harry Hall, Cootie, Sung J.M., Yellow Miraju, Rika Hoey. How about this? Let's kick out Yellow Miraju. I just bumped up his ownership, so he's going to be selected quite a bit. Let's try a different one. Griffin, Harry Hall, Cootie, M, Rasmus Højgaard, Rico Hoey. Sure. Just sure. Here's a lineup. This is a lineup I can get behind. McIntyre, Cootie, M, Thigala, Bezadenhout, and Sam Stevens. Very balanced. Very balanced. Roy Toy, probably... hey, if you can get back on a golfer, this would probably be the week, right? Matsuyama, Griffin, Cootie, M, Boshu, and Kevin Roy. I think I'm going to keep this one. Just as a different lineup. Matsuyama, Griffin, Cootie, M, Bezadenhout, Takumi Kanaya. Well, oh, can you do Takumi Kanaya? Is that too risky? Maybe not. Here's something a bit more balanced. Griffin, Mitchell, Cootie, M, Højgaard, and Michael Kim. I don't got an issue with that. Matsuyama, Cootie, M, Grazerman, McCarty, and Bezadenhout. There we go. There's a very balanced build, and that's solid. That's pretty solid. One more for the road. Bobby Mack, Harry Hall, Cootie, M, Kirk, and Castillo. It's kind of dirty. I don't mind this one. McIntyre, Hall, Cootie, M, Kirk, and John Perry. Okay. It's pretty dirty. I like it, though. Okay. Well, that was 6 lineups for you. All right. I've had the pair initially the other way with M first. This is the first time I flipped it and thought it was okay. Unsure if that's what flagged it. It probably did. I'm Cootie. It probably did. I know it's M, but YouTube is gonna take into account that people don't know how to spell. So it probably said M or I'm, thinking I'm Cootie, like you've got cooties. Okay. All right. Once again, last little bit for questions, comments, concerns, all that good stuff. I will be calling it quits here shortly. No lineups got music or labeled black. Not a good sign. I will be honest with you. I didn't like any of the lineups you guys built, or that I built for you guys. But that's because you guys anchor around golfers I didn't care for. So that's just how it goes. I mean, like this lineup here that I built for Nathan, this one was fine. I'm gonna use this one somewhere. I don't know where, but yeah, whatever. Let's see who Ludwig and Taylor Moore. I don't think I'm ever gonna highlight a Taylor Moore lineup. I don't care for Taylor Moore. I don't like Taylor Moore at all. Let's see, Ricky Fowler. Who are the Fowler and Finau and Grillo? I'd never highlight any of those. I don't like Finau enough. Like, even if I was trying to be like objective, I can't get behind Finau. I get that there's too much ick that comes with Finau. I would never do that. Henley and Cootie I do like, but like Hubbard I don't care for, Lipsky I don't care for, Howie I don't care for, Castillo I don't care for, and Michael Brennan I don't care for. So it's hard for me to highlight around those. And oh, by the way, as I am saying this, don't get discouraged. I don't win GPPs. Like, I haven't won a GPP this week, or this year, I should say this week. I haven't won one this year. It's not that I'm right. It's like, if I'm coloring them, it's because I like them. But between you and I, at least I'm not cursed like Byron. At least I still have good weeks where I'm profiting and stuff like that. I haven't been close to a GPP win yet, so don't mind me saying I'm not highlighting anything. Ricky Fowler and Alex Smalley, I don't mind some of these, but I think it's just because all the other lineups were built before. We kind of missed out on some of the other golfers. Like Yellow Mirage is one of my favorite golfers this week, and I don't mind like a Ricky Fowler, Alex Smalley start, but then there's no Yellow Mirage in any of these lineups. Which I just, I don't know. And what did we just build for Nathan? It was Udi and M. This combo is actually a combo I like quite a bit. But then I didn't get any like decent names with you on that. If Ludwig would have been a part of the conversation, if JT would have been a part of the conversation, if Henley would have been a part of the conversation, I probably would have liked these lineups a little bit more, but I didn't get any of them. Who would I anchor around? Everything from my video that I talked to you about. Like, I am not kidding. Like, you know, Ludwig with Cootie, and I need a 9K golfer. Like, sign me up for JT. Those three golfers right there. I mean, everything I talked about in the video. I gave you all those lineups that I started to build with. You know, all of those could have been lineups that you guys could have picked. You know, like I saved some of these because I really liked them. And by the way, again, I'm not right. Don't you know, I'm if you wanted them highlighted, that's what I'm basing this whole conversation off. If you wanted me to highlight lineups, you had the blueprint. If that's what matters to you, follow the words that I say throughout the video. You know, you guys have your own convictions on golfers. You have your own thoughts on golfers. But like Ludwig, JT, and even if it wasn't JT, you know, like even an Alex Smalley would have been fine. Ricky Fowler would have been fine. Matsuyama actually probably is the pick. Or even like a Oberg Henley lineup. I'm sure we could have built some pretty decent lineups that way. I like M quite a bit. Is this it? Is it M? Oh yeah, you can't do JT with M. But like Fowler or Matsuyama. Oberg, Matsuyama, and Sung J M. I don't like Vince Whaley, so don't care for that. But that's close. There we go. This is a perfect lineup. I would have been I'd have been dancing to this song, or to the song played for this. What do you think of my core of Russell Henley, Sung Jae-im, and Ludwig? Oh, good God. Well, what you're already doing is you're making me not like the lineup because you've got 2 guys from the Marquee Tee Times. If you want to break the rules, by all means, I guess go for it. But what kind of lineups can you build? Can't build anything. Because I need a 9K. Okay, hold on. We'll move this 0. Don't like that. Don't like that. I could get behind something like this. This is a decent lineup. Oberg, Henley, Im, Cole, Homa, Grillo. I like Grillo. Oberg, Henley, Im, Yellam Raju, Hubbard, Phillips. I could do that. That one's fine. Seabez, Homa, and Kanaya. Sure. Kanaya's straight ball hitter. Can't do Cam Davis. He's broken. Kisner, I don't think so. Phillips, don't think so. No. Mao, no. Glover, sure. It's not sexy, but it's fine. If you like Davis Riley, it's a good lineup. EVR, if you're waiting for EVR, but this one has Kevin Roy in it, don't really care. Simpson and Homa, don't really care. Garrick Higo and Roy, don't really care. Hardy, no. Sneds with, okay, let's kick out Roy. Yeah, this is one of those times where I think the optimizer is going to be right about Roy. This is the week to play Kevin Roy. I don't think I want to, but this is probably the week to do it. Adam Shank, Svensson, okay. With Homa though, I don't know. I think I'm going to kick out Homa too. Homa and Roy, chalk one of those up for a top 10 this week. Jimmy Stanger, I like. I like Jimmy Stanger. Hayden Springer with Hubbard, that's fine. We can go back to Springer this week. Danny Brown, if you care about Daniel Brown. Don't want that. Don't care for that. Don't care for that. This one's fine. Novak, Ramey, Ewert. I like Ewert more than I like Ramey. It involves, there you go. You found your lineup. Seabez, Castillo, and Walker. I don't think so. Don't care. Don't care about Castillo. Now it's just finding all these value plays in the 7K range. We're not doing Highsmith. You could do Vegas or Vigegas. That's fine. Don't want that. Don't want that. Play Patton Kazar in Texas. Don't really care. There we go. There. We found a different lineup. Oberg, Henley, Im, Novak, Fisk, and Pavon. That works. That works. Okay. I think that's it, guys. That is it. I wish you all good luck. I will be live tomorrow, Wednesday night live streams for members onlys. So I will see all those that have badges next to their name that are white tier members or above. Outside of that, that's it for this week. Good luck. May your screens be green. Bye-bye.